Barbara.
Hello, Jamie.
Barbara.
Hi. We're here.
First
Are we
of all,
on right now?
Yes.
Okay. We just start talking and that's it. Yeah.
First of all, thank you for doing this.
I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for asking me. We had you on our show and we so enjoyed our conversation.
I loved it. You know what I love is how much you love this podcast studio.
I love this podcast studio.
And I can tell you later afterwards.
Okay.
But yeah, it's a whole thing now. But I'll tell you later.
Okay.
Here's what I want to say. You're so sweet.
I brought you some food.
So Barbara bought me a thing of chili.
It was for the Super Bowl and I had so much.
Okay, first of all.
Cornbread too. Gluten-free. Homemade cornbread. I'm gluten-free.
Gluten-free. Of course you are, Barbara.
No, I really have to be gluten-free. It's not a trend with me. I've been gluten-free for 15 years.
Really?
Yeah. I had a parasite that went undiagnosed that I got from Mexico, and it completely ruined the inside lining of my intestines and everything. And then they just said, gluten can be irritating.
Yes.
So, and that's probably why I got the parasite in the first place and why some people get parasites and other people don't.
Yes.
So the doctor said, just be gluten-free.
Be gluten-free.
Just be gluten-free.
Do you know what that is, though? Partially what I believe.
Yeah.
You have to only eat pasta or bread. This is going to sound crazy. Not all of it, but a lot of it is Italy.
Is what?
Italian bread.
Oh, Italian bread from
and
Italy.
Italian pasta.
Right.
You don't feel it's very different, and the gluten here is not
Right.
because of gluten; it's more because of the pesticides. That's the argument.
I'm sure that there's probably some truth to that.
You have to do what you have to do, but
Well, are you going to show your show?
Yes.
You're going to show that for the rest of the show?
no, I just want to tell a story.
Okay, tell us a story.
So you're so sweet. She gives me this chili she gives me in the streets of Hollywood. It's so sweet of you. And wait, so you had a huge Super Bowl party?
No, not huge. I just had a few.
But chili seems to be a thing. My other buddy, Mike, makes chili, and you make chili.
Yeah.
And it's just so funny that you gave me this chili. Do you know why?
Why?
Because I believe everything's connected. I posted a thing of an episode I did on Criminal Minds, and I said, if you're going to do Super Bowl party this weekend, you may want to avoid the chili.
Why? Avoid the chili?
Yes.
Why? Wherefore avoid
I
chili?
love chili.
Okay.
But in Criminal Minds, I played a character named Floyd Phelan, and it was voted like a really creepy episode, and it's because he had kidnapped people and chopped their bodies up and put it in the chili and then fed it to the search party.
Oh, no.
So it was the perfect crime.
Right. Oh, well, I get it from that. I mean,
I'm saying I'm acting.
If I was around that, or that happened to me, I would be like, no, I have PTSD from chili. I can't eat it.
I'm going to eat it.
You'll eat it now?
I love chili. I'm just saying it's funny that you gave me this beautiful bowl of chili.
And you were talking
not
about
knowing.
it. No.
And you're a horror icon. And I've done some things in horror. And you just hand me a bowl of chili on Hollywood Boulevard not knowing my history. It's so funny.
Yes. Well, I hope you like the chili. Let me know.
Barbara, that's so sweet of you. See, this is what I love about the cons, because I don't know you. You don't know me. But we have a connection. Would you agree with that?
We've seen each other a few times.
Come on, Barbara. Can't you just say we have a connection?
We do have a connection. No,
God!
When you came and you did our show.
Yes, put it a little lower and closer.
Oh, lower and closer.
A little bit.
And lower.
There you go.
We loved you.
Did I go? Oh, thank you. Did I go too far?
Yeah, but that's what you do. We knew it. We were ready for you. But
why do you guys think
you're highly entertaining?
Why did I go too far?
I'm just saying that. I don't know if you went too far. No, you are you. You have to be the most of yourself.
Yes.
To be human and to be yourself and be authentic, and that's who you are. You are you.
Yes.
So that's great. And then we saw each other at CreepyCon.
Yes.
And we did have a connection. I was like, Jamie, and you said Barbara, you know.
You came up and said something to me. I'll say it later because I want to go into a couple other things first. And I thought, okay, this is perfect.
Wait, you have to speak up for me because I'm part of
You said something.
What did I say?
Well, I don't
want to say it now.
I don't want to save it for later in the pod because I have it
okay.
written down. But it was good.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
I know what you're going to talk about. Oh, Jesus.
Later, Barbara.
All right. After you warm me up.
Warmed you up.
Okay.
Barbara, you know what I love is that I was looking to make sure that's on. I'm reading about you, and I usually don't do that, but like, because I just go with it. But I have an instant feeling. I feel so sweet towards you because your father was a Carney.
Yes.
Like, is that like, I have such a connection with Carneys.
You do?
Yes. Carneys to me are the baseline of our business. And
we are kind of all like Carneys.
100%.
We're hawking shit, selling ourselves, doing a song and dance.
Some of the
Come in and play my game.
Yes.
25 cents.
And
you can win a prize.
Yeah. Listen,
it's all that.
It is all because some of our business was built. Some of our greatest people, like Sid Croft, you know who that is?
Yeah.
Basically, the inventor of Saturday morning entertainment stuff. He was a Carney.
Oh, I didn't know that.
He was a Carney, and his best friend when he was a young 14-year-old was the man with no face. He told the story on this pod, and it's a heartbreaking story. And he was like, he protected him. And I just know circus performers, but it's not just Carneys. I used to do a hidden camera show, and I considered them as much my family. And Carneys, because they would hide in a bush or behind a tree and shoot stuff. Or when we go to these cons, we're making incredible money.
Yeah.
And yet it's a carnival atmosphere because of the way it is. A set.
Yeah.
You have someone, you know, this movie star, and then you have a grip, but we're all a family. It's a Carney. It's, you know what I'm saying?
It's a Carney atmosphere, yeah.
And it's,
sure.
I just love it. So you really, and the fact that you're so, to me, well-adjusted, I can't believe how well-adjusted you are.
Well, I think I'm well-adjusted.
Probably worked on yourself.
I have worked on myself, gone to therapy and whatever, but I also feel like when I was younger, and I traveled every summer through Pennsylvania, Ohio, and Virginia. That was our area that we went with Ken Penn Amusements and Straits shows, Strates.
What was the was it a circus or fair?
See, a circus is different than a fair or carnival. A fair is like a county fair. It's kind of big with games and rides in a midway. And you would have, you know, a tent with the two-headed cow or the bearded lady or something like that. But a circus is the big top tent, so that's a little bit different. A carnival is a smaller version of a fair. So lots of times you can see carnivals on the side of the road with a few rides and a lot of kiddie rides mostly and little games you can play. And we used to play some of those shows as well, but most of the places we went to were big state fairs. So in the summer we would travel, and my dad had a basketball joint. He had a crazy ball birthday game. He had the balloon dart. He had a couple of other things at different times. And I traveled from the time I could remember. I mean, I used to sleep and take naps in boxes of stuffed animals. That's where they would put me down for a nap when I was like 2.
Your mom and dad were married?
Yeah.
So did you have a sister and brother?
4.
And they were all carnival family?
They were all Carneys. And then, but, you know, we went to school during the school year. Then after graduation, my brother went to college for a little bit. He dropped out. And then he felt like he wanted to continue in my father's footsteps. So he was married, and he had 2 sons, and they also did the whole Carney thing. And way back when, you say I'm well-adjusted, but way back when, it was a more wholesome atmosphere than it is today. You know what I mean? Today it feels a little seedy, maybe.
A little.
You know, when you go, I love going to the fair, but
I do too.
There's an element. When I was traveling with the fairs, there were those people called ride boys that they didn't really have a home. They just traveled with the rides to different fairs. They would sleep underneath the ride. But, you know, they were our people, so never going to hurt us or do anything. But they were definitely transient type of people. And then we traveled with some gypsies that didn't go to school. I mean, they just never, the kids didn't go to school. And my first kiss was with a gypsy boy who was like 12. We were like 12. And, he didn't go to school, but he knew how to work in the joint, which was the game. And I think, so why do I think I'm well-adjusted? I think that, I saw a lot. And these people who were maybe the fringe people of society in a way were my friends. And we were also a family.
Mm-hmm.
And there were other families that traveled too. So I don't know. Nothing like freaks me out or scares me.
Mm-mm.
I'm used to the absurd, and I'm used to, people being around me that feel like they're the outsider, or, and listen, I guess I've been, you illuminated this for me in this moment, that I've been hawking myself my whole life, because I also ran one of the games. I ran the basketball joint game my dad gave it to me when I was around 12.
Oh my gosh.
And I had it.
You had a business at 12.
I had a business at 12. I had a guy working for me who was an older guy.
Oh God.
He was an agent in the joint. And
Oh
I would
boy.
give him 30% of what he took in.
Why did you give him 30%?
Well, that was what he would make for the day. Like whatever
He was your employee.
Well, I guess so. I mean, my father, it's kind of weird. I guess
Your father owned the game.
Yeah.
You worked it. Mm-hmm. And you had to give a guy 30%.
I was the head of the store. I was the head of that joint.
Yeah, the basketball shop.
So I don't remember what he gave me. He probably took all my money, but he gave my worker 30% of whatever he took in, and then my father kept the rest.
And what would you make?
What?
What would you make in a day?
What would you make in a day? I mean, back then, how much was
70s?
How much was it to play?
70s?
25 cents.
Yeah.
So you get 3 shots, 3 tries to put this basketball into the basketball hoop, but it wasn't regulation size. It was a little smaller, so it would take a few tries. I was doing it all day long,
so you got good.
I could make every basket. But the guys that would come up, and we were told, so talk to the guys that are with their girlfriends, because they, the guys want to impress their girls. So say, hey, buddy, come on in, show your girl how you can win one. Hey, stud, get over here. Let's see how you are. Let's see that arm. Stuff like that. Then they'd come right over being really proud. Oh, yeah, I can make a basket. And then they couldn't do it because it was not, it was not the right size. So it was messed up a little bit. But let me just say this. There are states, and it's probably still true to this day, there are states in this country where you're allowed to have a fair where the games are games of chance and you can win them. But there are other states where they allow you to have games where maybe you can't win at because it's deemed entertainment.
So what are you saying, Barbara? You know what I just love about you? There's
Yes.
about 6 levels that just happened in that little exchange. You know what you just did? Barbara was being real. And then Barbara got a little scared that she was like, oh, am I doing something deceptive? So then let me give you a state legislator. This is what Barbara did. Barbara, you're so funny.
Thanks for following that.
Oh, my God. There's so much worse going on in the world.
But yes, there's so much worse. But my father, all of his games were games of chance. Except.
My father was a good one.
Except one time, my dad had the balloon dart, right? So
yeah.
You've seen that before where you.
Don't tell me they were like. Impenetrable or something.
No, you break the balloon. That's fine. All the darts are the same. But behind there's a tag, small, medium, or large. So when you break the balloon, you turn the tag over, and then you give a prize, either this small little plastic toy, small, medium, kind of a medium stuffed animal, little stuffy, or one of those big stuffed animals, right?
Yeah.
So I looked at all the tags. At one point, maybe, I don't know how old I was, 8 or 9 or something. I looked at all the tags, and I thought to myself, most of the tags read small. There's only a couple mediums, and I don't see any larges. So I took it upon myself to get some blank tags, and I wrote on there, large, 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 medium, 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 medium. And then I switched the tags. So all of a sudden, one day, all these people were winning prizes. Everybody was so happy, and I was so proud of myself.
Look at
I didn't
you.
tell anybody I did this, but then my parents found out, and they couldn't yell at me because I was kind of doing the right thing.
Look at you making up for those games of chance.
Yes. I wanted more people to win and be happy and get a bigger prize. And that's how I feel like I am today, Jamie.
100%.
I want everybody to have fun and to have chili and get a bigger prize and get a bigger piece of the pie. And how can I help you in your career and what you're doing and what can we do together and, all that kind of stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
I want to go back because you said a lot of stuff and it's really interesting. So, oh God, you said so much. Just being in that world is so, you learn so much.
Mm-hmm. How to deal with people.
You learn so much. And then you have this guy as your employee. And he's an adult.
Yeah, that was weird.
It's weird.
I did think it was weird that my father did that.
It was weird.
In a way, yeah.
But, it's funny because I never thought anything was weird. I have this joke until I got older. And then I realized, God, there was a lot of volunteers around my Little League.
Oh, yeah.
And they were a lot of 55, 58, 60-year-old men that like to volunteer for 11-year-old Little League. And I'm like, I never thought that was weird until I was 45. I'm like, maybe that was a little weird.
Well, were they parents of the other kids?
No.
Oh.
No, just old dudes.
That is weird because it's usually
and they like to work the equipment room. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm just saying.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I have a good story about it, but I don't know if you can handle it.
That sounds like a story. There's something.
Well, I would go in and me and my friend, my friend was the pitcher. I was the catcher. I know that sounds weird. But we were playing baseball. And this volunteer, I'll never forget, he came to all of our games. And one day we were in the bathroom at the urinal and he smacked our asses. And he goes, "Hey, you got a fat fanny." And I was about 12.
No.
And I was like, "Thank you." And I was like, "Does my ass look fat?" My friend's like, "No." He was like, "What was that?" I was like, and then it didn't hit me until I was about 46 that he's probably hitting on me.
You remembered that.
Yeah. It was just, he said, "He got a fat fanny." I mean, it was a compliment. But,
But he shouldn't have touched you.
I know, but.
No, that was not good.
It was Catholic school. This happens.
Really?
Yeah. I got off easy.
You got off easy.
It was a compliment.
I have a few stories like that of my own, but nothing horrible. Nothing too.
Barbara, it's okay
horrible.
to laugh at that. You got a little worried.
Okay, I'm worried. That's something.
He got a fat fanny. Barbara,
I'm worried
stop
for you that something happened.
No, I would tell you. Okay. Honest to God. My other joke is that I was an altar boy for 4 years, and a priest never even touched me.
Good.
But it made me feel like I wasn't cute.
No, not. No.
I was cute, right?
You're super cute.
Super
cute.
I just remember the priest doing this. Priest showed me how to dance.
Mm-hmm.
They were like, more shoulder. Listen, there's so much going on with you. I just love the fact that you were a carny because to me, you're just so smart. And you were a hustler.
I think I'm a hustler.
You're a hustler.
Yeah. I can't stop hustling.
You are a hustler.
I've been doing this for 40 years.
More.
I took a break when I was raising my kids for a while, but then I came back in after I did this movie called You're Next.
Oh, and I got to tell you, because you're I want to talk about that, but you're a little, Barbara gets a little woke. We'll talk about it. But you said something that is illegal, what you just said, Barbara, so you're in trouble.
What'd I say?
Your first kiss was with the gypsy boy.
Yeah.
Do you know what you can't say anymore?
What?
Gypsy.
Okay, well.
Because you know what I used to say?
Yeah.
If I gave you $5 and I owe you $6, you would say what? Hey, why did you?
Short me?
No, Barbara, let's do it again.
Wait.
Give me $5. You owe me $6 and you give me $5. Barbara, why did you gyp me?
Oh, gyp you like
gyp.
gypsy. You're right. Yes.
And now I have a very woke friend who said that is a slur against gypsies. And I'm like, I didn't know gypsies was a thing. I thought it was just a gypsy is like, I always thought gypsies were like, because we're in a transient business, believe it or not. And the ride boys is such an incredible term, but I understand it. And they're sleeping under there and there's poor, runaways or whoever, broken homes. Yeah. And then gypsies, I didn't know was a class of people. I just thought they were, like you see two girls going to Coachella and they go from festival to festival, like living the gypsy life. But he told me he got all offended. I'm not offended, but I love the fact.
Thank you for not being offended.
I love the fact that you said gypsy.
Well, they called themselves gypsies.
I agree, but you can't say gyp. But you said shorted me.
Sorry.
You're
well, that was our rehearsal that didn't work. So then we did it again. On the second take, I got it right.
But so I was looking at you, and then you were. I find that most people in our business that are successful well, you actually had two parents, and it seems like you had the same brothers and sisters and no step parents and stuff.
Well, no, but they had a terrible relationship.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, my because my father was on the road all the time, he was having a lot of affairs with other women, and
I'm sure
it was really hard on my mom, and so he would stop having an affair and go back to my mom, and then have another kid, and then go have an affair and come back to my mom. And, yeah, so by the time I got to be like 23 and I had my first job and made some money, I told my mother, you need to divorce him and I'll pay for it. So I paid for my mom's divorce from my dad.
Wow.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Just a story.
But you started acting and you started in soaps, right?
I did. I mean, I went to school for theater and went to New York and did some theater in New York. And then when I came out to California, my first job that I auditioned for was Days of Our Lives, and it was a regular part, and I got the job, which was incredible. My first thing I auditioned for.
Are you kidding me?
No,
the first audition ever.
Yeah. I had only been here for 3 weeks or so, and I was working at this restaurant called the Cafe Figaro.
Of course, where?
Which is a different restaurant now. It was on Melrose and Doheny. There's like a very fancy place there now, but this place wasn't fancy. And I was a hostess. And a guy came in, and he was an actor, and he said, oh, my agency is looking for new, younger people because they do mostly sports guys, like sports stars. And the name of the agency was Bickel and Jennings. And he said, you should just come in and meet them. We were just chatting. I think I dated him for a little bit, too. Anyway.
Left that out, Barb. So, wait, how did that come? I think I dated him.
Well, we started chatting, and then we went out a couple times, and then he told me about his agency. So I went and met them.
The deal was sealed.
Well, I wasn't.
Did you seal the deal before the agent or after?
I don't think it was contingent on that.
I'm glad. All right.
I don't think so.
Nothing wrong with that.
I want to believe in the goodness of people, and he was just like, wanted to be nice.
You were attracted to him. He was attracted to you.
So we had a thing for a
minute.
Great
things came out of it.
Something came out of it. So I went to the audition not even being with the agency yet. They just said, oh, let us just send you out for this casting call. So,
Hip pocket.
Yeah. Oh, that's what we used to call it.
Hip pocket.
I was a hip pocket client.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden I was a real client because I booked the job. So then they signed me up.
Oh, they're right up. Yeah, yes. They're right in your bank account.
Yeah.
So I always tell people.
I worked with John Delancey on that show. Do you know John Delancey?
Who's John Delancey? I know the name.
He does a lot of Star Trek stuff.
Okay.
On many, many shows.
Okay.
Your viewers might know who he is. John
okay.
Delancey. We were paired together, so I worked with him for about a year.
And did you date him?
No.
Okay, good.
No, I didn't date him. He was married.
He was married. Okay, good.
And he was married. But I got killed by the Salem slasher.
In your first season?
Well, they didn't really have seasons. They just kept going. It's like soaps didn't end. They just...
Yeah.
It was 5 days a week. You could watch them the whole year. But I lasted about a year. And at the end of the year, they told me, oh, you're going to become one of the victims. And I was like, why? I really like working. I want to stay on the show. And they said, no, that's it. So what they do on soaps is they sign you for 3 years. You sign a 3-year contract. And then every 13 weeks, they have an option whether to pick you up or not. So they actually can fire you every 13 weeks. But
oh, shit.
Yeah. So it wasn't really a good deal for the actor, but it was a great deal for them. If they didn't like you or they wanted to change the storyline or something wasn't working, then they could, get rid of you. So
I tell people this. The hardest job in Hollywood. Soap.
Oh, well.
Hardest job. If anyone wants to be an actor, it is the best training. Had you done them before? Never, but I have a history. I'll give you my 2 histories. Is because I'm just amazed. The only other story, that story that you just got in your first audition is, well, clearly because you have it. You have the star, it's the star essence, right? Is Ashton Kutcher. I believe his second audition ever was that 70s show. Which is crazy to have an 8-year run.
Jesus.
And Lana Turner.
The star of the show.
I know. And Lana Turner at Swabs. Like, literally, you don't hear. Yeah. They're just so rare. So that's crazy rare. But I used to deliver coffee on Prospect ABC when I was 22 years old. And I went there because I wanted to be in it. So I'm like, you got it. If you're going to be a deliverer or whatever, or if you can't act, be around it.
Sure.
Right? Manifestation. So I was the person responsible for delivering coffee to the set, and I believe it was General Hospital. And there's a guy named Mark Teschner, and I will check him because he's funny. And every day I would deliver coffee, and every day I would put like the pot near him, and I would put my headshot for like 3 weeks under his door.
Good for you.
And I would say, Mr.
He was the casting director.
Yeah,
right?
I think he was the casting director of all of daytime.
ABC.
Yeah, and I was like, "Hey, Mr. Teschner, just letting you know the coffee's out here." And
by the way.
Yeah, and I said, and here's another picture, and he said something like, he was like, "Okay, thank you," and he's like, "Don't need another picture, coffee boy." Like, not mean, but in a funny way, like, "Just wanted coffee, buddy. Don't need the photo." Like, and I just.
Well, I'm surprised that he didn't at least have you come in and
maybe
talk
he did,
to you.
But well, he's a busy guy, and trust me, I was just delivering the coffee. Yeah. Everyone was trying to get near him. So it's funny.
You have to go with those moments though when they happen in real life. You have to just go with whatever's happening in the moment.
I had other people do that, but he wasn't a bad guy. I think it was hilarious. I was annoying, and then I was really crazy at my job. And I had this gay guy who was like an angel, and he says, "You're crazy," and he said, and that's how I got into stand-up comedy, because he's like, "You got to do comedy. You're too crazy for this job."
Oh, you started like after you got here. You didn't realize that.
That's what you wanted to do. I'll keep it short. I used to deliver pizzas at Domino's in Philly, and then I was making good money. Like I was making like almost $100 a day in the late 80s in tips, which is good for a 17-year-old. Yeah, right.
That's a lot of money.
And I'm like, oh, this is a hustle here. It's just about charming people, right? And putting up with bullshit, People,
that's what our whole job is today.
100%. Like,
be charming and put up with the bullshit.
Put up with the bullshit. People holler about you at your order. Like, I know, they fuck it up all the time, whatever. And you just sit there. Or like I've had so many encounters, right, with people. And then, long story boring, it was a movie shooting in town. I knew nothing about anything. I always loved movies, raised on John Hughes and You and Wes Craven. And I was raised on like horror and like TNA comedies. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Like,
Yeah. I did one of those too.
Yeah, I know. So, I don't know, but I know. But
Fraternity Vacation.
Yes, but in the
with Tim Robbins.
Yeah, in the 80s, that was like either slasher movies or beach
exploitation horror,
100%.
which I did those too.
100%.
Yeah,
and so I always loved that Hollywood. I had no idea about it. Anyway, my friend's mom knew I wanted to be an actor. I was taking a tiny little local class. She was going to be an extra. She told me about how to do it. She brought me down to a set. I met the fifth PA. They said, "Come back tomorrow and bring these clothes, and we can be background." I did it they cut my hair, did all the stuff, and I signed that little thing. I was making like $60 a day, and I was on a set, and the movie was Dead Poets Society.
Come on,
incredible! I know. I know.
Amazing.
Incredible.
What a movie to
incredible. I was
be a fly on the wall.
I was 18 years old. I'm getting goosebumps right now. Yeah. And I got I was grabbing a baby carrot. I didn't know what craft service was, and Robin Williams was like grabbing a baby carrot. Like I was literally at Domino's the night before, and it was like, divine intervention.
Did you realize it at that moment, or is this something looking back that you go, "Wow, that was pretty amazing that happened to me"?
I had a feeling of euphoria. Like, I'm not gonna lie, like, I know that sounds hippie-ish, but I had like this tingly feeling of like, this is my home. And I'll never forget it. Like, it was like an archetype of like an Apple commercial pre-Apple, meaning like how Apple's representative. Like there was an older Asian guy, a young, black woman. There was a gay guy. There was an Indian man. It was like every type was on this set, and I was like, we all wanted to be the same thing. We wanted to like figure out this acting thing. And I never knew anything about it. And I was like, at that time, I was just hanging out with suburban white kids from my high school. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I was like, this is it was a whole new world.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is what it is. And so when I went back to Domino's, I told Patty, my manager, and I said, I'm going to go to California and I'm going to be an extra. And so I worked for another 6 months and I took every shift. And that's how it started. I had no idea about anything.
Did you take any acting lessons at that time?
I took one class in Philly. I went to a community college. I didn't want to go. I hate school. And I failed like math and science, but I got an A+ in acting. And my teacher was an angel, another angel. I had these Sherpas in my life. And she said, you are the best in class and you need to go to California. And I said, well, how do I do that? Wow. She goes, I have no idea, but you have something and you just have to go.
Wow.
And I said, what do you mean? She goes, just go, Jamie. Whether you fly or get on a bus, go to California and you start your journey. I'll never forget it.
That was such nice advice.
It was incredible.
What did your parents say?
They said, you're out of your mind.
Yeah.
They said, you're crazy. We're scared for you. But my dad said, you can't hold him back and you have to let him do what he has to do. Because I was a good boy. I was a good boy. I wasn't a great student. It wasn't because I wasn't smart. It was just because I played the game. I was in Catholic school my whole life. When I was 9 years old, my dad's best friend lived in Huntington Beach, so I went to L.A. when I was 9, and I was so in love with it, and I didn't want to leave. I cried getting back on the plane. I'm like, please don't. I wanted to stay in California. I was meant to be in California.
You know, I had the same experience one time when I guess I was maybe 12 or 13. And we came out to California to play some shows all up and down California.
Carney shows.
As a Carney.
Yeah.
And I had never seen California before, and I had the same experience. I fell in love with it, and I said, I'm coming back here. I knew at that time I wanted to be an actor from the time I was like 11. I used to watch the $1 Million Movie on WPIX, Channel 11 on Long Island, and I used to watch Dark Shadows, and I knew. But when I came to California, I was like, I'm coming back. This is where I'm meant to be. I had the same feeling. But it took me 10 years later to get here, after college.
I could cry. You make me emotional because there's so much going on in our world right now and with our state. But I feel like roots from my feet connected to not just California, to just Hollywood. Like I feel... It's as crazy as this area is that you're in right now.
Everything's going crazy.
But I feel like it's my home.
Great.
It's my home, and I love where I grew up. But listen, California is the place of literal dreams of Mike Ovitz. Mike Ovitz literally went to UCLA and started as like the third coffee boy at William Morris. Now, he's out of the business now, but he is one of the cruxes that changed and created the structure of our business. And anyone who's at the top of the mountain, I say, always started at the bottom. Yeah. And it actually can happen. Right. And I'm proof of it. You know what I'm saying? You're proof of it. And there's levels of how high you go on this mountain. And it makes me so sad because it's just so different now, but California has a magnetic pull on those which belong here. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I mean, it feels like a magical place. It feels like it's gotten, in some ways, a little more grimy, But
yes.
Yeah.
It's sad.
It's sad, and it is a place of dreams, but it's also a place of dashed dreams. But, they do say, and some famous actor said it recently, the only way you fail in Hollywood is when you quit. And you just don't, you just can't, you just don't quit no matter what. Because I'm sure you've had this experience, but my career has been like this.
My career's been like this. No,
But you
No.
you never know
No,
around
no,
what
no.
corner
no.
your next job
Listen, I've had
is.
ups.
No, wasn't that?
No,
No,
but I want to say this is that two things. Is God, we went all over. Harrison Ford said that.
yeah.
He was later in life. You know, this
He was a contractor.
Yeah, contractor,
with
rogue,
his brother.
great looking guy. You know what I mean? Did one thing really well. That's it. He's not doing voice. He's not doing character. Just one thing really well. Is his presence and the way he can. He's a naturalistic actor, and he was like 30. He was like mid-30s.
Yeah.
And he said the reason why I made it was because I just stayed in the game.
He just stayed.
Yeah.
He did his contracting and then waited.
100%.
Yeah, I mean.
And self-medicated.
He did? He self-medicated?
Well, he's a big weed head, I thought.
Oh, is he?
Barbara.
I'm an innocent.
Barbara. I don't know if she's acting right now. You don't want to get canceled every second. You're worse than I am. Listen, or you did. Harrison Ford's known. He's like up there with Snoop as being the biggest toker in the game.
Oh, good for him.
You never knew that?
I don't know. I just didn't pay attention to it. If I heard it, I was like, oh, whatever.
He was high during Star Wars.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, when I did
Jack Nicholson
when I
smokes
did
weed.
Re-Animator, I was on cocaine a lot of the time. But that was only because we worked 18-hour days a lot and we couldn't stay up. And it was kind of the height of cocaine anyway. I didn't do it every day, but we did it a bunch of days.
Wait a minute. Tell me about this. So was this a low-budget movie? Like,
Yeah, it was, I mean, low budget for the time.
so
I
like,
think it was like $700,000, but that was 40 years ago. We're in the 40th year of Re-Animator, so I saw you at the convention, and we're celebrating the 40th year, and so I'm going to do that all year. But how much was $700,000 worth? 40
probably
years
at
ago?
least 4 or 5 million. No.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe
8
that's
million?
that's a little high, but
So wait,
somewhere.
was it an independent movie?
It was an independent movie. Brian Usna financed it himself. He was the producer, and then Charlie Band, who had Empire Pictures at the time, was the distributor. But they already had the distributor while we were making the movie, so they knew that they were going to distribute it. But I think things worked differently then. It's not like they didn't. Charlie Band didn't buy the movie and say, "Okay, I'm giving you the money up front, and I'm taking the movie, and I'm going to put it out on my platform." Or
Where did you shoot it at?
in LA,
That's what I love. Probably in the Valley.
we shot like on somewhere
God,
up
so
Beechwood
awesome.
Canyon was the house that I lived in with my the guy who played my boyfriend.
You
in
shot
the
it at
movie.
your house.
No. No, in Beechwood Canyon there was a location house.
A location house.
And I don't remember exactly where it is, but Jeffrey Combs, who played the Mad Doctor in Re-Animator, he says, I know where that house is. I could drive you there. And I'm like, well, where is it? Let's drive there. Let's go see it. But we haven't done that yet.
What is the movie about?
Re-Animator?
There's 2 movies I know you from. I know you from a lot, and also soap work. But
You
one.
didn't watch the soaps, did you? No.
No, but I
You
know
just know that
soaps.
I
I have a
wasn't-
lot of history with soaps and
Okay.
people, and I know I think soaps are funny. But
They were fun.
you also did Chopping Mall,
I did Chopping.
and-
I can't shake that movie.
which is
Jamie, I can't
crazy
shake
because
that
it like
movie.
gives me PTSD. The fucking ad for it. I remember it on TV seeing it and be like Chopping Mall. Like it's so graphic.
They broke into the mall for the wildest all-night party of their lives.
They're dead meat.
But you're never alone in the chopping mall.
What's that? Robot blood.
Chopping mall, where shopping costs you an arm and a leg.
Shopping costs you an arm and a leg.
Yes, but you do Re-Animator, and what is it about? I've never seen it, and that's not a disrespect. I apologize.
That's fine. It's about
I know it's a classic.
this guy who has developed this serum to bring the dead back to life, basically. in a nutshell. And he had worked with somebody named Hans Gruber in Germany, and then had come over to America and was going to medical school, and he involved my
Hans Gruber.
Yeah, Hans Gruber. I had that. It was Hans Gruber.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know.
How are they connected?
I don't know.
Wow. Has anyone talk about that?
I don't hear anybody talking about it, so I wonder why. I don't know. Hans Gruber.
Hans Gruber from Die Hard was the doctor's name.
Mm-hmm. Well, he was the doctor back in Germany. And then I believe he passed away in our movie. His eyeballs came out and whatever. So Jeffrey Combs' character, have you met him on the?
Who's Jeffrey Combs?
He plays the mad scientist.
Okay.
In Re-Animator. So the actor who I was sitting next to when we were at CreepyCon last week, he is Crawford. No, that's not his name. No, that's another movie I did with him. But he comes to the medical school, and he's trying to get my boyfriend to be in cahoots with him to use the medical program there at the school, and a cat dies, and then he brings that back to life, and then somehow my father gets injured, and then they kill him, and then they bring him back to life, and then it gets to be craziness. And then by the end of the movie, I die, and they're wanting to bring me back to life. But yeah,
it is such a classic. People go crazy for this movie.
Yeah,
and your lines are like crazy. Like, people love you in this movie, and they know how
they like
much
the movie. Yeah, they like everybody.
I
in the movie.
feel like it had such a mark on pop culture.
Yeah.
The thing is that there was never a sequel.
What?
Was there a sequel?
Yeah, there was this number 2 and a number 3.
Okay.
Bride of Re-Animator, and then the third one, I don't remember what that was called, but I wasn't in those two.
Why?
Stuart Gordon, who directed the first one, and to great success and acclaim.
Is he related to Keith Gordon at all, or no?
No.
Okay.
No. So his agent told him that he shouldn't direct sequels. So they wanted him to direct the sequel. And his agent said, no, this was dumb. 40 years ago, I mean, you wouldn't say that now, but 40 years ago, that's what they said. So then the producer, actually there was Peter Jackson for a minute was maybe going to direct it. And he was new in his career, but he didn't end up directing it. So the producer, Brian Usna, ended up directing it, but he just thought, so he said to Stuart, he goes, okay, I'll just direct it then. And they had the money, and they were going to go ahead and do it, and they were going to start in a number of weeks. And then Stuart said, well, what script are you going to use? Because he had written this follow-up script for Bride of Re-Animator. I was supposed to be the bride that was resurrected.
Yeah.
But that didn't happen because Stuart said to Brian, what script are you going to use? And Brian said, well, I'll just use yours. And he said, no. You have to write your own script. You can't have my script.
Wow. So wait, so you do the movie and it made a lot of money.
Made a lot of money.
It came out. Did it make a lot of money out of the get-go, or did it become a slow burn and become a hit?
It made a lot of money out of the get-go, and then it continued to make money, and it continues. It's the gift that keeps on giving for Brian Usna, because he owns the movie outright.
Brilliant.
Well, what I was going to say was, then Brian decided he was going to, he's had to write the script. So he changed it a little bit. And I guess it wasn't the same story. So my part had been like this in the Stuart Gordon version. And then in the Brian Usna version, it was like that.
So you're like, I'm not doing it.
So I didn't do it.
No, it's not wrong.
And then they had another gal kind of play my part, but then I think they cut it out. But my girlfriend, Kathleen Kinmont, was the bride. So it was it was a different scenario altogether. It had to be a new bride, a new person.
Mm-hmm.
And so they hired Kathleen, who was in Fraternity Vacation with me.
Wow.
So she was my friend. So I knew her. And I mean, that movie did pretty well too. And then the third one, I forgot what it's even called. I don't know. It's just.
But so he owns the movie.
Brian Usna owns the whole thing. So he's one lucky dude that he has this property.
Well, how much did it? What studio put it out, or was it independent?
It was independent.
So he had to go to theaters himself.
I think he went to theaters himself. Yeah.
And he's still alive.
Yeah, I just saw him the other day. I see him all the time. He's a really good friend of mine.
How much money did he make?
How much money can you make on a franchise that you haven't done a sequel for in many years? He does a lot of licensing.
I'll tell you what. I went to the guy who created Chucky years ago.
Don Mancini.
I think it was Don, and he's got a humongous house. But this was before all the reboots, so he had a huge house then.
I know Don. He's a friend of mine too.
Okay, he seemed a lot of money off Chucky.
Yeah, well, he has also curated Chucky over the last number of years and made subsequent films that were very good and also got the TV series going. I'm trying to do that with Brian Usna because I'm a producer too. So Brian and I have been chatting, but
on Re-Animator.
Yes, and a lot of people go to Brian and say, I want to make an animated series. I want to make a series. I want to make another movie. It's been pitched around town a lot over the last number of years, but this is the 40th anniversary, so all of us in our different ways, myself, I'm saying, Brian, I'll help you. And then other people are saying, Brian, I'll help you too. So we're all talking about it, and there's people interested, and let's see what happens this year. But I feel like something's going to happen.
It's crazy.
A series or another movie or something. You know, I was at the Saturn Awards, and a big distributor came up to me after the Saturn Awards, and I was just there because I was giving an award to somebody else. And he said, oh, I hear you've been pitching some things to my development people. And I said, yes, I have. Who are you? And he told me who he was. And I said, yeah, I'm so happy to meet you. I really want to talk to you, and let's have a meeting. And he's like, let's have a meeting, Barbara. So I'm meeting him on Friday. I can't really say who it is, but he's also,
I wish you would tell me his name.
What?
I wish you would tell me his name.
I can't say his name. I can't say anything, but I could tell you after.
I want to make sure it's a good meeting.
What?
I want to make sure it's a good meeting.
Yeah, I think it'll be a good meeting. Yeah.
I want to go back to the cocaine.
Oh, let's go talk about cocaine. I haven't done cocaine in years. I mean, that was another lifetime.
How did it happen?
I think we just brought it to the set because we wanted to stay awake.
And so you guys were doing toots.
Yeah.
And it wasn't anything weird.
Wasn't what?
Weird.
Was it weird? I don't know. I mean,
I don't think it's weird. I've never done toot.
No.
But
okay, because of my history being a Carney kid.
Be honest.
I was the first person to drink with the boys and hang out. I was, smoked cigarettes.
First person to kiss gypsies.
I did 4-way window pane when I was 12.
You did what?
Yeah, it's like LSD. So, yeah.
What was it called?
4-way window pane.
What is that?
Just like this thing you lick.
At 12?
Yeah.
Ooh!
That wasn't good. No, I've never done it since. So
okay.
No, but I smoked pot when I was younger, and
Carney life.
Being a Carney, like I was exposed to a lot.
So you did coke, and it was like coffee. This is what I want to say because there's a huge. I love this part. I love Hollywood, and I don't want to go off. I don't want to go off topic here.
Yeah.
Part of me wants to move to Vegas and still have a little place here because I can buy a big place and make it like a content factory and all this stuff. But me and, the people working on this pod, we're both like, this is Hollywood. This is where it happened. This is where it was.
Well, this is where the deals are made.
I mean, well, they can be made anywhere now, Barbara. But it's still the history, the roots, the dirt. All of the great things that have happened for me happened here. And I love hearing that you shot here and it just doesn't happen. There was a movie about Asian street gangs in San Francisco. Okay? I mean, it's a new Netflix series. Mm-hmm. Follow Patrick, the producer.
Oh, yes, I do. I follow him.
He's
I
awesome.
love him. I want him to follow me and be my friend
I'll
and talk
have
to
him
me.
do that. He was on this pod.
He was.
Yes.
He's great.
And he's really 411 and he's very pro Hollywood. And he's like basically saying, if I'm out of work, no one's going to work because I'm reality.
Yeah.
And he just reported about Asian street gangs, scripted series for Netflix in San Francisco. And Netflix is shooting it in South Africa. I know. And I'm saying, I know it's expensive, but it's like to go all the way over there about that when you can literally go up the fucking road says a lot about
what
the
is-
money.
But what is that about then? I mean, is that
It's
about we
about-
don't have enough tax credits? Is that because the business is bloated? Is that because
Well, the business
everybody
is
wants
done,
more money?
Barbara, in my
Huh?
opinion. I know you don't want to hear that.
The what is done?
The business is cooked.
Yeah.
It's not the way it was.
It's no.
And I'll explain it to you in my opinion. But I did sequels, direct to video or streaming, of Tremors. And I've shot in a few things in South Africa. I love South Africa. I've had amazing times in South Africa.
In Cape Town?
Cape Town and Pretoria and Joburg. I walked
I
around.
shot something in Joburg too.
I walked around. I didn't know.
Yeah. Oh, you didn't?
I didn't have a
guard with me.
bodyguard. People-
I had a guard with me. The
Good
whole
for
time.
you.
Yeah.
People said you're like a crazy white boy walking around here, but that was such a weird thing for them that they didn't know one fuck with me. But then I had a bodyguard after like a week, but I didn't realize how dangerous it was.
Yeah.
But there's a beautiful mall in Joburg. Joburg has.
I went to that mall.
It was amazing. You know it.
Yeah.
And I was eating biltong all day. It was great. And so, all I'm saying is, I understand the schematics on the money there because I took a deal on back end and I just got another check. Like, it's amazing that the audience that Tremors has, and I didn't. But I understand why they shot in South Africa. They have a whole setup there. Universal has a whole thing there.
I mean, I've heard that too.
And Thailand.
The crews are great.
Awesome.
And it's just less money. And they also
But it
use
wasn't-
non-union actors that they get from Toronto.
Well, a lot of South Africans. There's a great
And
South
South
African
Africans?
actors, yeah.
Okay, I know some people that shoot there a lot, and they have casting people in London and in Toronto because they're not SAG, so they can work
They can
a
do that.
non-union show, and they're really good and well-trained actors.
Cape Town, amazing actors. Cape Town has that Nobu. Okay, they have American things there, and it's cheaper.
They have
than
a Nobu there?
Incredible, Barbara.
Come on, I'm going
South Africa is
Cape Town tomorrow.
Cape Town is off the hook. My whole point of that story is,
Yeah.
well, I went there and shot for 6 weeks and stayed another 2. Like, I loved it, and so
So was it what you're saying? This is a contest. The business is done.
what I'm
So what
saying
do you
is
say?
that was a movie about worms
Yeah.
in the desert. So we had a location that was in the desert that was pennies on the dollar. So you don't want to
Yeah.
shoot that in Bakersfield. I get it. But this was about Asian street gangs in
right.
San Francisco, and your Netflix
You should shoot it in San
they're
Francisco.
going. It's the amount of. It's crazy to me. That just says so fucking much. Of like, you can keep something authentic and shoot it actually in San Francisco, where it's you know what I mean. Like,
It's very sad for our
Yes.
business. It really is.
but I want to go back to the cocaine.
Okay. Let's go back to
So here's what I want to say.
Yeah.
There's if you talk to certain actors, they'll say you know, Marlon Brando will say nothing was like. I didn't talk to him, but in his book, he says nothing like the 50s. I think Jack would say there was nothing like the 60s, maybe the 70s. You know, if you talk to people from the generation, they say nothing like the 80s. And some people, people say, you know, the 90s was the last good one here, or whatever. And that's my generation.
Yes, right.
And so there's a very big star, I don't want to name his name, but he talked about how cocaine was just prevalent. And
It was just around.
It wasn't a
Nobody
big
thought about
deal.
it. It wasn't a big deal.
It wasn't taboo. And you would just do a toot when you're talking to somebody.
That's what we did. That's what we did. Just
And
to
it was
stay awake.
it was
wasn't like
espresso.
No, it wasn't like we were partying on the
No.
set. We were so tired because Stuart Gordon wouldn't stop filming. There was no 10, 11-hour day. It was like, I want another take. I want another setup. I got paid more money on Re-Animator for overtime than I did on my regular salary.
This is what I love. So did the guy put up his own money?
It was Brian Usna. He got money from private investors, and then there was some record company that was in sort of a famous record company in North Carolina that gave him some money.
This is what I love.
Yeah.
You're making a movie passionately. You're young and full of vigor. You're doing
And they didn't know if
coke.
they'd make the money back.
No, they had no idea. They took a fucking chance.
They did.
And they made something original. That is out the window. It's Quentin and Paul Thomas Anderson and Martin Scorsese and Francis Ford Coppola. I don't know who else. You know, Francis Ford Coppola just put $100 million of his own money into a movie. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like anyone who wants to get in the business, I tell them this ain't a business for you if you're scared of taking a fucking chance. This is blackjack.
Yeah, it is.
And you have to love what you're making and know that you could fucking lose it and get a tax write-off.
Yeah.
And I can't stand pussies.
Yeah.
Scared money don't make money.
Yeah. I made this movie called You're Next a number of years ago.
Huge. That was a big movie.
And that was an independent movie.
Budget.
That was budgeted,
Tell me the budget.
Like $700 or $800 again, same kind of thing. But but many years later, past Re-Animator and different price point at that point. But Keith Calder was the producer of that, and it was Adam Wingard was the director. They hadn't sold it to anybody. They just got their money together, and they made the movie. And they called me out of the blue to play the mom in it because they wanted like an aging, horror actress. So they called me, and I was like, why do they want me? I hadn't done anything in like 6 years.
They're fans.
Well, I was being a mom, and I guess they were fans of my older movies. And so I went and did the movie anyway, long story short, and I had the best time. And these people, every person on that movie was more inspiring and more creative than the next person. It was like I loved everybody on the movie. It was Simon Barrett and Adam Wingard and Ty West was an actor in the movie.
Adam
his movies.
Wingard is blowing up.
Oh yeah, he's blown up already. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's who I was working with, and I was having. It was like somebody gave me a gift. I was having the best time of my life. They took that movie and it got submitted to the Toronto Film Festival and got in, and it was bought on a bidding war. Lionsgate bought it.
Wow. And what did it end up making? It ended up making a lot of money.
Well, they put it on a shelf for a minute right after they bought it because they acquired Summit Entertainment at the time. And so they weren't and so instead of like 15 titles to release, they had 30 over the next year or so. So they kept pushing it away and pushing it away and pushing it away, and then the movie The Strangers came out.
Yeah.
And then they were like, oh. Then we put our movie out after that, and everybody said, oh, that was a ripoff of You're Next. But no, actually, You're Next was first.
Yes.
And then The Strangers was second. But so our movie was a home invasion, and it felt a little like The Strangers in a way, the same basic
When did You're Next
setup.
come out?
2011.
11. Yeah, it was like 2011.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Wait, you just made me think of something. Oh, God. Yeah, here's the thing is I don't want to act anymore unless it's something I know people will see.
Really?
100%.
Unless that they're going to see it. So any of these little things that people are offering you, like they offer all of us, you turn that stuff down.
I don't need it.
You don't need to.
Why do I need it?
Yeah.
What's it going to do for me?
I wonder about that too, and I fight with myself about it because, well, a lot of things I turn down that people offer me because it is little or,
who's going to see it?
But I love to act, and I don't get to do it enough.
I understand, but here's the thing.
Sometimes every once in a while I'm like, I'm going to take that
No, I
job,
know. Listen, you have to do what you have to do. The business, like you said about don't doing sequels and stuff, there's so many steps and levels that I could go into of how it was and how it was precious and how there was a star system. It's all done now. Unfortunately, Hollywood has caved, in my opinion, to social media. Like they want attention more than anything. And I mean, it doesn't mean they don't want to make great things, but it's fucking only coming from the Adam Wingards and the different people that are outside of the system that are making these original ideas. Do you know what I'm saying? And
every once in a while something bubbles up.
100%. Like The Substance this year.
Yes.
And which is amazing.
Well, it took her 5 years to make that, and she did do that movie Revenge.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a fantastic movie. And when that came out, everybody went, who is this woman? And then she stuck to her guns, and she wanted to make that movie the way she wanted to make it. And I think the first studio gave her a lot of grief and wanted her to make changes, and she said no. And then they sold it to a different studio. So I think there was a lot of her being pure also. Like she is like an Adam Wingard. She's going to be pure and do her own thing.
Yeah, and so I don't want to make, I've made these movies. The last 3 movies I did, I really cared about. Mm-hmm. And one of them.
What were they?
I did a movie called Don't Suck, and it's a crazy premise that you're not gonna think is good, but it's basically about a comedian that was a lifer, and then he's on the road and he slowly realizes that his opening act is a vampire.
Ooh.
Now you're gonna go. It sounds extremely stupid, right?
No, it doesn't.
It should be stupid.
Okay.
But it's so good because it's played real, and
That's funny, don't
we
suck,
think
yeah.
he's doing heroin when he's injecting blood, and I'm like all of this stuff,
Yeah.
and then it has to do with aging and being a star, and my character fights with immortality because he wants him to bite him so he can make it, and he's like, you don't understand, it doesn't mean anything, and it's a much deeper thing wrapped in a light concept.
Did that come out yet? Or
It came out and we went everywhere. Everyone turned us down. It's got a huge star, Matt Rife, who's one of the biggest comedians in the world, and he was just burgeoning at the time. It's got myself, Russell Peters. It's got great people in it. And Ellen Hollerman, who's in The Matrix, and it just is on Amazon Prime.
Okay, I'm gonna watch it.
Well, you can tell me, but then.
Yeah.
Then I have two other movies. One is a comedy. It's really broad. It's going to be wild, called Wingman, and that's going to hopefully get into a festival. And another one is a thriller, which is really well done, too. I shot in Louisiana. Now, all these movies are good. And if I can't get people to see it, well, we're going to see it because I have three in the can. There's another one in the can. If I have to get people to see those movies. Like, so I'm doing movies, and I did this movie. It was a $500,000 budget, produced smartly within, a 5-location setting in Minnesota. Amazing director, amazing script. It could be dramedy-ish. Like, it's the type of movie that could get a teeny bit of a look. But if I can't get people to see these things, it's like I can't get them to see.
Yeah.
It's a fucking lot.
It's hard. I mean, there's so much stuff out there. So are we doing the work for the work itself because we love doing the work, or do we want to do the work because we want
But you have to make something.
It's a mix of.
No, I don't want. I don't need to act any. I don't need to just act.
You don't.
I've done it a million times.
Okay, I still need to act.
I love
still
to
wanna
act,
yeah.
but I'm not going to act if something's going to go straight to Pakistan Redbox.
I know, I get that. Yeah, I think I pick and choose.
I could just talk to myself in the shower.
Yeah.
I thought that would be funnier.
That'd be fun.
No, that didn't really go. You didn't really like that joke.
No, I did. Yeah, you could.
Barbara, don't courtesy laugh.
I was sad. No, I was
You're
sad
sad
for you.
No,
I
I
was
can
sad in that
act.
moment.
I
You
get
talked
offers.
yourself in the shit. I know.
But it's just people that are just people have to see the shit. They got
so
to
what's
see
the
the
point?
shit.
I know. But there's another aspect of this. Because I work with a lot of first-time filmmakers or young filmmakers, and I worked with somebody recently on something, and it was the first thing he directed, and he has some sort of pedigree, and I thought, okay, this will be interesting to work with this guy. So I like to work with people and help them if, I think their movie could have legs because it could be the next thing. It could go to a film festival and be amazing and come out and be fantastic.
Here's what I agree with you. I'm with you. I did this. I did Tremors 6, and there's a joke. How many people don't know there's a Tremors 5? But what I want to say is there was 12 years between when the Tremors stopped making movies at 4 and when I got on. And when I got on, they started making money again, and I don't want to say being more relevant.
That's like a Chucky
100%.
thing.
They didn't come out in theaters. Obviously, Michael Gross is the legend of Tremors, and he will always be Burt Gummer, and he's the king. And Kevin Bacon is also known, and Fred Ward, and Reba. They're also the kings of. But what I'm saying is, I worked my ass off on this movie. I loved it. The director was amazing. He's so funny. We used to argue and fight, and then we'd laugh. And Michael Gross is such an amazing actor. We used to fight and argue. And my leading lady was, she was amazing. And I had kissing scenes and action. And I worked my balls off. And I was in South Africa, and my agent's like, "This is your Chris Pratt." Like, this was like a comedy action. It's good. And I beg. I sat with Universal Home Division. I said, please, just let me screen it in Burbank at the AMC, please. And I know this movie can open at $8 million. It costs you $2 million. And if it does, then Marvel will look at me. And they're like, nah.
No.
And they put it straight to fucking streaming, and people who watch it love it, and no one saw it. In the business, no one saw it, and they go, there's Tremor 6 next to it.
Did the con people come up to you? Had they seen it? Your fans?
Hardcore Tremor heads that are like, I love you in Tremor 6. They come hardcore at me. But I'm saying is, I fucking loved doing that movie. It was intense. It was one of the 3 times in the movie set I thought I almost got really hurt by my own problem, my own volition, because I tried to do too much. And I just was bummed. I'm bummed.
Yeah, we get bummed. I mean,
I'm bummed. It's like when Courtney Cox, I tell people this, and then I'll shut up and let you talk, is that Courtney Cox really raised me, and she doesn't really know it to this day. I have to tell her this. I was doing Scream, and I was one day in dinner, and we're sitting there. Can you hear me, Barbara? And
I can just barely hear you. I'm a little hard of hearing in this ear.
I got you. And I'm sitting with her in a restaurant, and it was towards the wrap, and I started crying. And she's like, oh, honey, what's wrong? And I said, the movie's ending. I feel like we're all bonded. And she goes, oh, honey. She goes, honey, it's just summer camp, honey. This isn't real. And I go, but it is real. It's my reality. She goes, no, honey, this is fake. This isn't real. Reality's offset.
Yeah.
And I said, no, this is my reality. She said, no, honey. I'll never forget it because I had no life. So set was my life.
Yeah.
And it's been that way for a long time. That's why we jump into this stuff, a lot of us, right?
Well, you know what it is about.
And so anyway, when you work your face off, you work your face off, you care, and people go, oh, why is this person on crack? Why is he on heroin? Or why? Because you give everything in your fucking life to make something that you hope people love.
Right. We're artists. And
you try. Yeah. And when it doesn't resonate or it doesn't get if it doesn't resonate, that's okay. But if it doesn't get a fair shot, it's fucking criminal. And it bums me the fuck out. And you'll see me sitting at a coffee bean, slumped over, stuffing my face with croissants.
Right. The greatest thing about being on a movie set that you love and with people that you love, like Courtney Cox or some other people, David Arquette, whoever you're with,
amazing,
is that it's the collective experience of everyone focused on one thing, making this one moment amazing, from the grip to the lighting to the makeup people to your other actors to the director to the camera people. Everyone is focused on this one moment, and life is so much about all the little peripheral things, the nuisance little things that you have to do in your life that are annoying, the bureaucracy, everything that goes on in your life. But in that one moment, when you're in a scene with somebody and the cameras are there, I mean, it's like Nicole Kidman talks about when you're watching a movie, when the lights go down and the camera, the film is right before you and you're watching it. That experience of watching a movie collectively is the same feeling that you have on a set when it's really cooking and everybody's rocking that moment in that scene. And that, I mean, I love that. And we don't get that enough. And yes, you want people to see the things that you believe are your proudest moments, and you hope. But we have a long career. We have a long life. And I mean, to be honest with you, I know you say you like Chopping Mall. I always say I can't shake the movie. That's like my little tagline for the movie.
Made a mark.
I don't love that film, but other people love it. I had a great time making it. Over time, that movie has become a cult classic and people love it. And they talk about it so fondly to me when I meet people at the conventions and things. So that movie's meaningful for people, which makes it more meaningful for me because it has meaning for them. So with Tremors, with anything else that you have that maybe people haven't seen, maybe you have a long career to go yet. Maybe people will come back to you and, Tremors will become a bigger franchise. It happened with Chucky. It happened with Chucky with John Mancini.
Barbara's so sweet.
No, it did.
You're so sweet. You're like you're doing Tremors therapy. You're like, it's gonna be okay.
Because maybe you'll do another Tremors, and then people will look at it again, and maybe
should.
they'll do a Tremors series.
Here's what I want to say, and I love
You
how
never know.
sweet you are. It's just that I know that if it fucking came out in January, which is the dumping ground and less competitive, there was a chance for me to get my star shine. You know what I'm saying? Of like that moment again of like in a new light. Because it's all bullshit. Everything. My buddy's one of the biggest distributors in town. And he's like, yeah. He's like, here's 4 things you could release a movie. The title. The date. I forget the third. Something else. And he goes, and then the movie you hope is good. He was like, literally, he's like 3 things before the movie even good. He's like, the date means so much.
Yeah.
He's like, the title means so much. The poster. He's like, does it hook people in? And then hopefully you made a good fucking movie.
Yeah, because if you made a good movie and you don't have all those marketing tools and those selling points and you can't grab the people, it's like, if a bear shits in the woods, does anybody see it?
Exactly.
I don't know.
No,
Yeah.
that's...
Tree.
Is that...
It's if a tree falls in the
If it-
woods. Not
no,
if a bear
if
shits
bear-
in the woods. I don't know where I came up with that one.
Is a... Wait.
Hopefully we don't see it.
If a tree falls in the woods...
Did anybody...
If anybody heard it, did it happen?
Did it happen?
If a bear shits in the woods, it's just...
Don't step in it.
They do shit in the woods.
They do.
I think
Let them do it.
You let them shit in the woods.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. Like I've worked on a lot of things, and I've been very fortunate. I work with a ton of people. I'm not saying I'm retiring. I'm not saying it. I'm just saying is like I can't give my all to something if I don't think it's gonna work. And I'm not been like that pretty much in my career. I'm sure I've taken some jobs and I was like,
I think when we were all younger, we took whatever job came our way.
But
now we're a little more picky.
Yeah, and I think that it affects all of us. I mean, George Clooney and Brad Pitt, gold-plated A-listers, did a movie on Apple. Did you hear of it?
No.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I went to a little party last night for...
Was that last night? I saw your post at Heather's.
Yeah. Well, it was at another person's house.
Okay.
Heather invited me to go.
Okay.
But
are you guys tight?
we're not tight, but we're friendly.
I could see.
We like each other a lot.
I worked with Heather. She's awesome.
You did?
Yeah.
What'd you work with her on?
Bowfinger.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It was a great movie.
Great.
Yeah, great movie.
And she was like in her stars, super stratosphere, and she's always the sweetest
person. That was
person.
the height of
Yeah.
her career.
Yeah.
I mean, she's never left. I mean, she's a very nice person.
Mhm.
Really, very kind to everybody
Mhm.
around her. Whatever. But
You
what was
went
I
to
going to
this
say?
thing.
So there was some. There was a movie that's up for an Oscar, and so it was just a party to gain awareness for this film. That was a documentary. But what I wanted to say was there was a producer there. He produced Election and Little Miss Sunshine, an older man.
Legit.
And so, I was talking to him about the state of the business, and he's like, "Yeah, can't seem to get anything off the ground, and I don't know what we're all doing." And I said, "Okay, well, you have an amazing body of work. You've done some incredible movies." He goes, "Yeah, but I'm not done. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep trying, So I was like, "Yeah, I guess I have the same story as you do, even on my level, because I feel like I'm a level down or two from him, for the kinds of movies that he has produced. But, it's the same. Everybody's feeling it everywhere.
I love
at every
that.
level.
I mean, this is a guy there's 2 nominations there. So, yeah, the business to me, do you really want the honest opinion? Just my
Sure.
opinion.
Give it to us. Lay it on us.
The business will never be the same again. And we are all closer to having to be Ryan Seacrest. Meaning that the episode of Entourage where they took Vincent Chase and they said, "You're a brand."
Yeah.
And he's like, no, I don't want to be a brand. That was a foreshadowing of honesty, because everyone is going to have to be some sort of brand and what you're known for. The cons are only going to get bigger.
Oh, they are so. They're bigger now than
Ron
ever.
Howard, Bryce Dallas Howard, Mel Gibson, Jude Law, Orlando Bloom. I mean,
Heather did a convention recently.
Yeah, I'm sure. Like, people, everyone is going to go to conventions except a few. So we're a human living interaction artifacts, how that's going to be huge. Live is going to be huge, meaning like if you do stand up, if you play music, if you talk on a podcast and it's you and Catherine and you do the live version of your pod, that's how it's going to be. Events, interactions, things. Will there be movies? 1,000%. But I'm sorry. I just saw a trailer for another Jurassic Park. Sure, I'll go see it.
Do we care?
I know.
No,
I don't care.
Really.
But it's like, sure, I'll see it as something to do.
Yeah.
It's literally like an amusement park ride.
Right.
It's like you're going to see few and far between.
Yeah.
Like, hopefully you're going to see more substances. And,
I hope so.
And
that movie was amazing.
And you're going to hope to see more of Parasites. And I'm just saying, it's like, where's the 22 episode order for sitcoms? Where is the sitcom? Where is the... It's about attention, unfortunately. I know you don't want to hear that, but we live in an attention-filled, narcissistic society where people go, oh my God, I love what Barbara Crampton did. And now people are like, I can do what Barbara did, or I don't need to do that. I'm going to influence over here and do something. We live in a world, Barbara, where OnlyFans, which I don't know if you know what that is.
Yeah, I do.
People on that make more than NBA players. And I'm not saying...
Really? They make that much?
A lot of people do. And I'm not saying it's not warranted, but what I'm saying is that's just a wild turn. And so people are like, I can do it myself.
Sure.
And I don't want
to... Maybe that's what we should...
And also Hollywood has a lot of stink on it because a lot of bullshit.
There's a lot of bullshit.
Because there's a lot of people yapping and there's a lot of hypocrisies, which we can get into. There's a lot of yappers.
But maybe we have to get back to the 70s, the John Cassavetes.
The best.
They were making their own movies.
100%.
And doing their own thing. And it was a vibrant time of a lot of expression and, creativity. Can we get back to that? Can we just make our own movies? I mean, I guess that's what we're going to be doing. Maybe we're going to act in them. Maybe we're not. We have to pick and choose. But there'll be a few people that will rise up and you'll want to work for them or you want to work with them or watch their movies because there always will be creative people because the creativity is like a weed. I mean, it just finds a way.
This is why I do this because I have to get this out of me.
You have to do something.
I had right?
I like my podcast too. We're on a break now and we're talking about whether we're going to come back or not. But I really loved doing the podcast because it gave me a place to go to talk to people, to talk about creative things, and it was an outlet.
100%.
Creative outlet for a creative person.
And I wanted to say you just made me think of something and I just lost it. What were you saying? What did you say?
Working for new 70s, John Cassavetes, working for new young people. Maybe
like we're gonna be in a time where it's not gonna be. I'll say two things. The old systems are kicking and screaming, and I'm part of that because I do like some old things, but I'm also loving the new. But you're never going to stop AI.
Well, that's what I'm worried about too.
You can't be worried.
Are they just going to make movies with AI?
I saw a great post with this woman, and I don't even know who she is, but she said the first thing they're going to do is eliminate the co-star. And so what they'll do is you're on a show, your other lead's on a show, and there's a person that comes up and say, the doctor will see you in 3 minutes. Okay, he's down the hall, 5-6 lines. They will AI that
person. That'll be
and that'll save them
a lot of money.
It'll save them $1,000.
Yeah.
And those are the death by 1,000 cuts.
Yeah.
And it'll slow.
For those up and coming actors, how do people get
up and coming actors? And also, it's just like, don't worry, it's just this, and don't worry, it's just that, and don't worry, it's just this, and then slowly, the next thing you know, they're like, Barbara, we can just use AI for this stand-in part. You don't have to come to set today, or you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do.
And you cannot stop it. I tell people to listen to Justine Bateman because she's got the amazing take on it. And Justine basically says, look, it's about us consuming each other's content and going, oh, this is 100% organically human-made content. I know that sounds corny, but it's
Right.
no different than going to Arrow One.
It's like milk.
Yes.
Organic milk versus just regular milk.
And it's like, I want to watch this movie because I like Barbara. I like what she does. I enjoy her. And it's like, she's the star I want to watch. It's like movie stardom. And that's what it'll be. And it doesn't mean that the other stuff won't be big. Just like when reality TV came out, people are like, well, I always tell people it's not your lane. Don't worry about it if you're an actor. But that lane just became a huge lane.
Huge.
And now
And it was cheaper content. It's
100%.
It's all about the money. Cheaper to produce, so they kept making more reality shows. And so they'll make probably TV or movies that are AI movies and movies that are real movies, organic movies.
But we're going to be in a time where it's just going to be so wild.
Does the audience care? Do you guys care
About what?
about watching AI movies or not?
No, they don't care.
Because you know what? Let me tell you something.
They don't care.
Did they not care? Okay. Because,
I watch amazing AI shorts. You should watch these guys called the Door Brothers. They're incredible.
Okay.
They make these AI shorts with all the political figures at the crux of their core of who they are. They have Trump. They have Trump and Putin like with their shirts off. It's hilarious
People
shit.
think it's funny, but what about video games? You know how big video games are?
Humongous.
They make more money than movies.
Yeah.
And you could arguably say that there's a voice there, but that is like an AI created, generated figure of
100%.
a person in a game.
100%.
So how far away are we then?
Not far.
We're not that far.
No, that's why your value right now is that you're a living, breathing human. And that you've starred in things
Thank
that
God.
are
I have
time-stamped,
a background
100%
of stuff.
If anything,
I have a library of content.
1,000%.
Yeah.
The fact that I was in Scream alone is
that's amazing.
It's just
huge.
It's a blessing forever, and I am time stamped. Of like, okay, at least I was a human being in something
In
that
a
is
real movie.
and real movie that people really deemed they enjoyed. Just like Re-Animator, you're a human being in a real movie that people and we've made a mark, on pop culture. And I think that's how they'll look at you. They're gonna go, oh my God. That's Barbara from Re-Animator. She's
the real
here.
actors?
She's right there.
Yeah, the real actors.
Yes, and
from
that's
the past.
Oh, here's $50. We signed. I mean, that's what it is. I'm sorry. I'm not saying you can't act. I'm not saying you can't do all that, but that is the value system in my belief.
I think you're right. Yeah.
And I think that we live and die by the audience, and
Yeah, it's the audience.
It's the audience's choice.
Go back to my question: will they accept that or not, or will they move on to other content or other
Well-
things to do? Or
I mean, look, Barbara, it's like so many levels to it. It's like you have people that love what you do, and then there's people that cosplay you from a movie Re-Animator, and those people become very popular. And it's like those people have fans, so it's like levels within.
I know, right?
I know, and you're like, yo, that was me.
That's scary to think about. Yeah.
I know it's an honor, but there are
They
Scream.
come dressed as you in the movie. They come dressed in your outfit.
Somebody sent me this makeup kit. Shout out Houston. And it was with Ghostface on it, which no one's paying. It's $60,000. I don't know, either per product or per year to license Ghostface.
Right.
And the only one that legally looks into it, I don't know if I'm allowed to say it, is Matt Lillard. He's like,
Oh, yeah.
Matt would do everything by the book, and I believe that was the price. It's $60,000, and I don't know exactly what it entails. Well, Scream's everywhere. No one's paying for it, right? They can't stop it, but it's amazing
Well, they make
marketing.
T-shirts and they make Ghostface
Fanny
and
pack, everything.
they're rogue
So
T-shirts.
this
and they're-
person sent me this makeup, and it was Ghostface, and it was a makeup kit, and it was so cute. And I'm like, this is crazy.
bootleg. They call that
Yes.
bootleg merchandise.
And so Ghostface is McDonald's.
Can't stop that.
No.
Yeah.
And so it's like, my point is that you can't stop it. It's but
guess,
people
yeah.
will be
Yeah.
are attaching their own belief systems to it, and they'll be their own bigger versions in it. There's Gay Face now. There's a guy who has a rainbow mask. There is Sparkle Face. There is
Right.
Bimbo Ghostface. There's so many different versions of Ghostface,
It's interesting.
and
Yeah.
so it's an honor, but it's just like
you know
I don't
what
know.
I did this year
Be happy I'm part of it, huh?
to
And I got
celebrate the 40th anniversary.
40th anniversary of Re-Animator.
I licensed from Brian Usna, the owner of Re-Animator,
That's gonna be money.
some images so that we could make a poster, so that we could have it on the convention circuit this year.
You had to pay
for people to sign. I paid him because that's the right thing.
He
to
charged
do.
you.
It's the right thing to do.
Could have gave you a cut. I hope it was a good. I hope it was a deal.
Discount. I got a friends and family
An
discount.
F&F deal.
He's my really good friend. He comes over to my house all the time. But
All right.
I didn't want to do that to him. I didn't want to, because it's his movie. He owns it. So
Yes.
I gave him a certain amount. I'm going to give him royalties on the posters that we sell.
Okay.
And we only made a limited edition because,
Yeah.
it's more valuable that way.
And so you did that.
I did that the right way. It was important for me to do that the right way too. And I said to him, I want to pay you for this. Let me pay you. So he's like, okay, here's what I'll charge you.
All right, I'm going to ask you some specific questions.
Okay.
What does it say about our society that we love to watch young girls run from horrific things?
From horrific things?
Yeah.
Because I think that everybody wants to think of themselves as the hero. So there's always a hero that's going to say, okay, well, wait a minute. Don't scrunch up your nose yet. You want to see yourself as the hero. I'm going to save that girl. Or the girl who's the final girl, she turns the tables on the guy who's chasing her, and she becomes victorious, and she kills her perpetrator.
Barbara, when are you running for office? Stop being political. I always say this. The two biggest lines you'll ever see in a con are Skeet and Matt.
Yeah.
They're rock stars.
Yeah, they're great.
They're beyond, okay? And I do well. But these men are killers.
Yeah. Oh, because they're
Crazy,
killers. I see what you're
horrific
saying.
killers.
No,
And
I see
here
what
I
you're
am
saying. No,
going,
that's true.
hey,
I'm the nice
this is what you
person.
do.
I know.
Don't get killed.
Right.
And my line is a fucking little fucking
No,
raindrop.
you're
And I'm
right.
like,
no, you're right, because people
our
love
society
the killers.
loves
I know. They love the
the
killers.
killers.
No, you're right.
And by the way,
I
they're the
agree with
most
you.
charming, beautiful killers you'll ever see.
No, and look at David Howard Thornton. Have you met him yet?
Insane.
He's so nice.
I know. And the huge line. So what I'm saying is, what does it say about our society that they want, and then that they want to see you get chased? I'm trying to do something good. I'm trying to warn you. And they don't care. They want that. And they want to see young ingenues being chased and in danger. And that's what I was trying to get at. It's psycho.
No, you're right. That's
There's a
true.
darkness there, Barbara. You didn't want to.
there.
You didn't
I
want to
didn't
go
wanna
to.
there,
I
but
know.
You brought me there, and I agree with you.
And it's also like young, beautiful ingenues. Their top getting ripped off.
Defiled and
It's fucked up. It's fucked up. It is fucked up.
Is it because we have rage inside of us? Well, the men have rage inside of them, and they just want to
Go there, 100%.
It
could be nerd
So they
rage.
could watch it. Don't do it. Don't see it. But I'll watch somebody else do it.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of pent-up sexual aggression. It could be a lot of things. But why Wes was so brilliant is because he literally was a Berkeley professor in my mind that was tenured in and never went above or below if his emotions were always even keel. Maybe 2 times I saw him highly annoyed and he was like literally just let out a huff. But you have to push him beyond.
Yeah.
And he just never lost his cool. So he analyzed everything, which is so different than me because he was around a bunch of emotional, wild beings. We're all emotional in that movie. And he was the architect of it. And when I did ADR and I learned what that was, and he would show me the scene. I'll never forget it. He showed me a scene. God, he's a master.
Yeah.
You don't realize it until he's gone. God rest his soul. And it was Nev opening a door. And it was like right in the beginning of the movie. And he's like, yeah. And he's like, you like that? You like the footage? I'm like, yeah, that's cool. And he goes, now watch this. And he's like, Keith or whoever, someone was doing the sound. And he went, like this. And that made it sting with 2 music cues. And I was like, and I jumped.
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa. And he's like, yeah. He goes, wait till you see the whole movie. And I was like, it was just, he knew just by putting 2 stings in naturally.
He was a master.
A master, and he knew. I got to talk to him about the psychology of why the human psyche is like that. And it's something about partially what you said, but there's also a dark side to us. And, it's like young girls in Pearl. Can you save them? Screw her. Let her. It's dark, but he knew that, and he knew how to time it throughout. I mean, but Scream is violent.
It is, yeah.
One of the best kills is Rose in a garage door. Mm-hmm. But it's also wild what she's wearing. I don't know if I can say that.
What was she wearing?
She's just wearing a shirt that's it's to this day, it's iconic. And that was all Rose. Rose picked it out.
Yeah. Oh.
But she gets killed in a cat door, and she's annoying, but she shouldn't have been killed. I mean, as a person, but it's amazing kill. Right. I don't know if I can say that.
I know. Well, we talk about that when we are developing scripts, or you get cast in something. Oh, the kill in this movie is going to be awesome. People are going to love it because it's inventive and unique and whatever. But you were talking about the guys being these iconic heroes. You know, I have a column in Fangoria magazine, and so I write, you know, every 4 times a year, just whatever I want to talk about or think about. And I did actually write an article on how people love the villains and the perpetrators, and we revere them, and how we, you know, there's only a couple of women like Nev or like Jamie Lee that have reached the kind of status as some of these other guys.
Yeah, most of the chicks been getting killed.
Most of the chicks get killed. There's been a little bit of a shift in the past couple of years with a few movies where, like in Pearl, Ty West Pearl, and you know, that whole series, and I would arguably say in The Substance, you know, I mean, she's still kind of a victim, but she's fighting back, and it's really her thing, and she becomes the monster, and we fucking love Demi as the monster, right? Mm-hmm. So I would like to see an iconic woman, you know, slasher kind of, you know.
You mean a bad woman?
Kind of a bad. We don't see it very often.
You see the final girl, the survivor.
See the final girl all the time. And
Scream is naturally a woman's, a lot of women empowerment, but I never felt that until like 25 years later, how it's naturally just, but it was.
But I think some of those movies are. It's like A Nightmare on Elm Street is a woman's empowerment movie too.
Halloween, yeah, and Halloween.
And Halloween.
But they're not like that. It's just like, ooh, she survived it. But we also love to see TNA, and we love to see the talkative friends get killed, and Prom Night and different shit.
Right.
But
did you watch Revenge, Coralie Farragut's movie, her first film, the one who did The Substance?
I have to see it.
You should watch that too. That's a revenge. It's like exactly what it sounds like, and she takes revenge on these guys that do her wrong.
Don't tell me.
It's fucking great. Yeah.
Because I'm saying in life, like I always say you can be a good actor, but good performances are people cast at their essence. And at me, I would be a little bit paranoid, going, "Hey, watch that." So Randy there's parts of me in him,
sure.
And I'm just saying, as people like Randy was love struck for Nev. You know what I'm saying? And he was like the best friend, and like on like Scream, like I was like Nev's like, you know, buddy, you know what I mean? Yeah. And she was married, and I wasn't like, you know, we weren't like, there wasn't like a thing of like romantic, but I was like literally like her little puppy dog, you know, in the best way, you know what I mean? And I was like, and Randy is like that. And then here he is trying to do the good thing, and he fucking dies. So what I want to say is, you know what? Maybe I'm sick of being the good boy.
Well, let's make you the mass killer next time.
I don't need to be killed. I'm just saying, in sense the society is so twisted that you try to do the right thing and you get killed. That's all I'm saying. You try to do the right thing and you get killed.
Good and people don't like you for doing the right thing.
No. That's what I'm saying. It's a society thing.
This thing that I went to last night.
Yes.
It was at Vanessa Hope's house, Ted and Vanessa Hope, and it was for this documentary that's going to the Oscars called Black Box Diaries, and it's up for Best Documentary. And the woman was raped in Japan in real life.
Jesus
She's
Christ.
a journalist, and she was raped by a journalist, an upper journalist, like senior to her, that was potentially offering her a job.
Oh.
And she got drugged somewhere in the restaurant that they were, you know, allegedly, that she got a Mickey in her drink, and then he brought her back to the hotel. And she woke up, and he was on top of her, and he raped her. And, you know, she talked about how she did a documentary on this. She lost the court case in Japan because in Japan, it's not illegal to rape somebody. It's not illegal. Well, I don't know if the laws changed now. Consent is not an issue. It's about if you do somebody to you really mess them up, or you're aggressive, or they get hurt, or they get a broken arm or something, it's just not the same as in America. So she shined a light on that. But she lost her court case, but then did a civil case, and she won her civil case. But now she said there's so many people. She shined a light on this.
God bless her.
People are looking at it different now in Japan. But a lot of people don't like her because she
exposed big rape?
She's a final girl. And she shined a light on these bad actors and people that kind of help to cover it up.
Hey, you exposed rape.
And she can't live back in Japan. She's like trying to figure out where
Is
to
she
live
Japanese?
Now. She's
or American?
Japanese. So she's going to live somewhere else.
Well, she shouldn't live there, but it's sad because it's her home. But that's crazy. That's crazy.
But sometimes when people expose
But it's beautiful.
Things, when people
She's a hero.
She's a hero. When
but it's also a martyr.
They get shit upon,
She's both. I mean, she's brave.
That's right. She's a hero and a martyr. That's exactly right.
And she's brave as hell.
Mm-hmm. Right?
Yeah. I mean, that's brave, and that's bizarre, and how backwards. You don't think of that. No one talks about that in a society. I do know that Japan is definitely perverted. I've heard this, but super perverted. But that's like beyond perversion.
But sounds like possibly.
That's psychotic.
Yes. You have to have freedom of expression to, I think, have societies that are a little bit more, forgiving and normal and work, and just let people be who they are. Don't force them into, like in Japan, force them into being, doctors or, just going to school and getting a degree and study, get triple A's on everything.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Barbara, do you know you're very political?
I'm what?
You're very political.
I'm very political? I'm not. I'm not really. I'm just like living my life.
So you came up to me at the con, and you said, Jamie, do you remember what you said?
I don't really. What did I say? Remind me.
Are you happy that Trump won?
Oh, did I say that? Maybe
did I say that? How that escapes me.
Maybe I did say that.
What do I come off as to you? Be honest, be blunt.
I think you come off, to me, I don't know you that well, but...
You can't feel my essence?
I can feel your essence. I can feel your
What's
essence.
your star sign?
Well, you're very funny.
You're very sweet.
And I think you like people, and you like to
They get
interact
annoying.
with people. I think you like to make people laugh and to have fun.
It's also a defense mechanism.
Okay. I know a lot of people that do that as well.
It's a survival technique.
Sometimes people do that. I know a few people in my life that do that because maybe they don't feel good enough, so they feel like they have to entertain you to belong.
Nah, I don't feel that way.
You don't feel that way?
I just do it as a way to get rid of people.
Really?
Yeah.
No. To get rid of people?
Yeah.
Come on. Really?
Well, there's multiple reasons I do it, but when I go to a club, I'm like, yo, I'm here. So it's narcissism, right?
Is it narcissism?
Yes, to stand on the stage and say, look at me, pay $30 to hear me talk. That's narcissistic.
Creative, but you're an artist and you're creative. And so you're entertaining people.
But I'm also highly insecure that I need their validation.
Well, what else would you be doing? Sitting at home, reading
Sitting
a
at a
book, being by
Starbucks,
yourself?
ranting in front of for free.
Yeah. But you like people. Like I'm a very
At
interactive
times,
person. I like people.
Yeah, but not all the time. A lot of
Not
people
all
are
the time.
annoying.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're energy vampires. Mm-hmm. But wait, you came up to me and you said,
Yeah.
Are you happy that Trump won?
And what'd you say to me?
Yes. But I also said, do I come off as like a Trumper? And then you went, meh, 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 meh. You did the Barbara. Where you went, meh,
Maybe. I don't know.
well, wait. But then, like, you are one of these people, and there's a few of you that that are concerned and sweet about it. Like, I have a friend, and he was, like, really concerned about the next 4 years. And you were like, but, like, what are you concerned about? And I want to help try to alleviate your fears. And I'm not a political person. Just to give you a little backstory, I did a movie about the most controversial topic, abortion. I played a person that was a historical figure that was the creator of Planned Parenthood.
Oh.
And he was under a person by the name of Margaret Sanger, who was one of the original people of that. She also, there's a lot of smoke with Margaret Sanger in terms of the circles that she did, racist things, and potentially she was a eugenicist. And the whole thing of the movie, it questioned a lot of things in Roe v. Wade. I was just an actor in it. All of these publications that are left-leaning, like Vulture and stuff, did all these articles saying Jamie Kennedy's in right-wing when we all this stuff. I was like, next thing I know, I'm a villain. And that was my origin story. And that was 4 years ago. And I was like, I'm just an actor. And that's when I was awoken to all this bullshit. But I have lived in Hollywood for 35 years. You know, I've known tons. I've definitely at least 3 trans people way before I came to Hollywood in Philly. My sister's an artist, like a painter. Gay guys are all my whole life. Gay women, because I worked in catering. You know, you in Hollywood are everywhere. Black, white, Indian, all types of. So all this stuff now is being talked about by people that really don't live it. I've taken the subway since I'm 11 years old. You meet people. So I want to know what it is that you're worried about. Because I'm sitting here with you, and they consider me a right winger. Are you scared?
I guess I'm concerned because I feel like Trump may be a bully and just trying to being, a dictator and being
one thing at a time. Bully. You want a strong motherfucker as the president of this country. You want an animal because there are animals out there. You dare I say we're the most, I don't know, England. We're one of the more refined countries. Dare I say that? There are people out there, Barbara, and you've been there. They ain't gonna fucking play nice.
Right.
So
that's true.
You want an animal. That's my opinion.
Okay.
Go ahead. That's my first answer.
Well, it seems like with Elon coming in and with the Doge group going into all these different places that the ways that we've been doing things for so long are being challenged. Okay. But
disrupted.
Okay, but
destroyed.
I know.
I love it.
Yeah.
Tell me.
It makes me feel uneasy. I'm just telling you.
About what?
Let me say it.
Get it out.
It makes me feel uneasy because things aren't going through the proper channels. And I can remember somebody talking about what Obama said many years ago when he was talking to somebody that he worked with, and he goes, look, whatever your ideology is and whatever you believe and however you want to make changes for things, he said, you know, in a democratic society, you take a few steps and you try to make some change, and then you don't get everything you want. You get a few things in a democratic society because we're all having to work together and we all have to kind of agree and go through the proper channels. And the way it has been set up is through Congress. And I just feel like Trump with Elon is going in and, just taking away the structure of how we've been doing things. So it makes me nervous. I mean,
do you?
and I'm not alone in that.
Of course you're not.
And
but that doesn't mean it's
not
right.
paying for NIH and cancer research and things like that. It's been in the news that those things right now are frozen and we don't know where they're going to go. So it makes people feel
one
uneasy.
thing at a time. Do you like the way? The first thing is, do you like the way things were going?
Do I like what?
Do you like the way things were going before this disruption?
Well, no, I'm sure that there is some waste in government and our debt is way over the top.
So
definitely somebody has to get a handle on that.
Do you think that politicians are generally scumbags?
I don't believe that. I don't believe that about anybody. That's not how I believe. I believe in the goodness.
You just told me a story about Japan and how they don't want to expose rape.
No, but I want to believe in the goodness of
I know
people.
you want to believe. I had this argument with this lady one time. And I used to do these jokes during the MeToo movement So I hope you're not sensitive. I'm not going to do a joke. You got very serious right there.
I did. I got even more worried.
And then
Yes.
don't be worried. I'll cut out anything you don't want. And so she's like, well, it's my right. And I said, yes.
It's my right for what?
Well, I was talking about something and I don't even know. I was like, you should be able to walk down the streets of Harlem at 2:30 in the morning on a hot summer night and wear a bikini top and go completely normal. You should be able to do that. But unfortunately, you can't. You can, but there's going to be a lot of risk with that.
Yeah.
So it's like,
Truly.
I want the world to be a good place, but we have to look at the reality of it's not. And there's a lot of good. So when you say this stuff, it's like the difference is altruism as opposed to reality and how we can adjust. So that's what I mean. Like, yes, that woman should be able to do that. But unfortunately, we live in a bad world with a lot of bad
And
things.
I wouldn't do that
Exactly.
either. No.
So
And
that's
I would
what
tell my daughter not to do that either.
Exactly. So what I'm saying is, politicians are dirty. I don't even know anything, but my last name's Kennedy. Do with that what you will. They're filthy. Okay? Here's one example. Just today, if the news is not lying, 59 million, just one expense, was sent to house illegals in nice hotels
I saw that too, yeah.
in New York.
I saw that, yeah.
Forget that we have a homeless crisis. Forget that we have people that are struggling to get by. How about the fact that North Carolina got destroyed? How about the fact that Lahaina got destroyed? How about the fact that there's Palisades destroyed? What?
Yeah.
So if we're disrupting that, then
I
smash
do know
it.
that. No, I've heard Democrats and Republicans both say everybody's wanted to tackle this issue for many years. Everyone. They know that there's waste in government. They know that there's fraud. But I feel like Elon is like slash and burn. So that makes me nervous.
He's really alienating people.
He's really alienating
Why?
people because he's so aggressive with it. And
That's the world. Here's the thing. Okay. Do you drive a Tesla?
no.
I don't either, but not because I don't like it, just because.
No, I just don't have one.
Yeah, I don't. I get worried that they'll be taken over. That's a whole other thing. It's like you can't control it. Okay.
Oh, right. Yeah. It'll drive you into a wall. or
Yes.
something. Yeah.
PayPal. Before that, I think he did something with Zip. PayPal, Zip, Tesla, Starlink, SpaceX, Underground Road. I mean, the guy is disrupting the world for better.
I hope so.
X.
Let's see. I don't know. Makes me nervous, but let's see. I guess we're not going to have any choice. I mean, I know there's judges coming
But
up and
what
saying
do
stop
you
this,
want?
but it's going to happen because it will happen. I don't know. Let's see what it uncovers. Let's see.
Well, it's already uncovering a lot. There was like a transgender play in like Beirut or some kind of
I read about that too.
It was making. I don't understand it. I don't understand what it is, and it could just be like, "Hey, I'm paying Barbara $30,000 because she did craft service," and really on the movie, it's like, have you ever done a movie where this is a real hustle where they pay you? I've been paid like $2,000 as an actor, but they
Under the
can't
SAG contract.
100%, and they'll give me $20,000 as a producer.
Yes.
Okay,
Well,
that's
so they don't-
duplicitous.
I know.
And it's also because maybe these laws are too strict. So, I mean, first of all, you have to understand that in my opinion, DC makes Hollywood look clean. I think DC's probably one of the dirtiest, if not the dirtiest thing out there. You don't want to say that. Okay, don't say it,
Let's
Barbara.
just see.
Your agent might say
Let's
this.
see what gets uncovered. I
But
mean,
okay, so that's one of the things.
and
What
let me
else
tell
are you worried about?
I watch Fox News I now watch Fox News as much as I watch CNN and MSNBC because when Trump won, I just want to see what they're saying because I didn't vote for him. But
Don't watch any of it. Watch
don't
TikTok.
watch any of it.
Well,
Yeah.
I go on Twitter. I just see the real reporters of the street. But
But who are the real reporters?
people that are there seeing what's happening. I see it. Like people that like BG on the scene. He's a guy that goes so that was like there was like protest of ICE down on the 101 last week, and I was at CreepyCon with you. And did you? I don't. And they showed how it started, and they showed who was, how long the police were there before it started getting pushed back, and so
it's two factions of people, and I don't know who. I just don't know. My mother used to say something. You feel this way about something, and the other person feels this way, but the truth lies in the middle. So
here's what
I just don't know who to believe.
Here's what I want to say is though. So why I invited you on this podcast is because you said something to me that day, and I could see.
And then right away you said, "Come on my podcast."
Yes, and because. Well, do you feel like I coerced you?
What?
Do you feel like I coerced you?
No, not at all.
Okay.
No, I don't. I kind of knew what was going on, but I was like, I like you. We had a fun time with you on our podcast.
Yes.
And I was like, I love listening to you talk. So
okay,
I was game for it.
Because I know. How can I say this? You're moldable. Does that sound wrong?
Yeah.
No, is that bad?
I'm open.
Yes. That's
moldable.
moldable.
I don't know if I'm moldable. I mean, I'm
moldable.
Open. Okay. I didn't.
Oh, God. Bad
okay,
word.
you didn't say it in a bad way.
No, like
we can easily influence her. You didn't mean that.
You're manipulative. No,
you meant that I am
yes,
open.
You said something to me, and I said, Barbara, don't worry about it. I'll tell you why. And you go, really? Really? As a guy with like a big axe is coming to you, hey, Barbara, can you sign my axe? And you're like,
take a picture with with axe. Yeah.
And don't even get me started on the cons. I mean, come on, some of the people that go there, you know what I'm saying. So, and you're like, I'm like, Barbara, it's gonna be okay. And you're like, really? Like there was a genuine concern in your voice.
I want it to be okay.
And you have a good life.
I do.
And there's a part of you, your financial structure could probably be more Republican, I'm sure. But you're socially progressive, which I am too. You know what I'm saying? And so when I could see that in your eyes, I had two things. I had empathy for you, like you were actually kind of worried. And number two, I thought, this is a great moment to like to
connect with somebody.
Yes,
yeah.
and it's either going to be like someone who's going to be really against it, which is also good, or someone that I can talk to and like alleviate their fears because I had this gay guy come up to me who's the sweetest guy, and he was like, I'm really worried about the next 4 years. I'm like, honey, you're okay. Like Trump has appointed multiple gay people in his cabinet.
I know that. Yeah.
I mean, Trump has got, tons of different Jews, black, Muslim. I mean, there's different people in his world. He's not out there to do it, but he's making broad strokes,
big.
But there's nuance in them.
I hope so. I hope you're right. He's only newly, been elected, and he's only been in the job for a few weeks. I did worry about when I saw the headline of, them cutting cancer research at different universities and things. So, I mean, what do you think about that? Or is that just a small piece of
They
the whole?
have the cure.
I've heard that too. They have the cure, and they're not
and
giving
they're
it to us.
suppressing the cure
So they can make money off big pharma.
1,000%. There's multiple things. There's frequency cures. There are different Barbara. There's another Barbara from New Zealand who's a huge wellness doctor who's shown it. There's apricot seeds. There's vitamin C treatments. There's mistletoe treatments. There's fasting treatments. There's ways now to get into it in China that they can turn a cell from good to bad. Like there's at least 12 different treatments.
Why aren't we doing that?
Because they want the money. They're not good people.
Do you think that Trump will overturn and expose all that so that we'll
100%.
That will get our cancer treatments and that will be cancer free, and that's a possibility.
I think if he does that, it's. You want to talk about putting in the danger zone. I don't think there's anything more. I think we have gotten away so much from healing could be so That's what RFK is about.
I know.
How people can hate RFK. Make this make sense.
I don't hate him. I mean, he's kind of seems like he's an anti-vaxxer, but I agree with...
So what?
But I agree with what he's saying about our food systems and the things that are in our Fruit Loops based,
in our Fruit Loops? You shouldn't eat a fucking Fruit Loop.
No, never eat a Fruit Loop
Never eat a fucking
life.
Fruit Loop.
But we have that, red dyes and things that
Terrible.
have been in our food system. And we allow, certain crop, whatever they spray on the crops. Monsanto. I know, Monsanto.
Barbara.
So
there's only about 20 things you should eat.
No, I shop at Air One. That's why
you don't even need to do that.
I spend a lot of money, but I eat organic food.
I shop at Air One. Trump is bad. I shop at Air One. I'll only eat organic chia seeds that are gluten-free, and we're blessed by a Native American tribe.
Seriously,
and blessed by gypsies. Barbara, you're a walking hilarious.
But I don't trust our food. So.
Air One jacked it up, by the way. When they were in Beverly, let's just be real. They also made that.
They've been there for 30 years, and
and it used to be reasonable, and now I do love a lot of their stuff. But I'm just gonna say it to the owners of Air One: they fucking are totally fucking everyone because they're making it like, can you afford us? You can't afford us, and it's a reverse psychology. In wrestling, we call that a work. They're working everyone's, and then now it's like if you can eat Air One, you're cool. But I'm not saying there's not good stuff.
Well, that's because they have that Hailey Bieber smoother, which I've never tried because I wouldn't want to.
It's $21.
It's $21.
I think it's $21. But let me go back to what you're saying. Is that you're so funny.
No, you're so funny.
But here's what I want to say: is that
it's an aggressive stance. I hope some things good.
Let's go to RFK.
Okay.
RFK makes tons of money doing, I believe he does, doing something called some kind of class action lawsuits. And so if he sues somebody for $3 billion for doing something bad, his company, whatever he's a part of, will get 30%, whatever. That's like $1 billion, something like that. That's crazy. Mm-hmm. He could easily make all his money and never say one word. Do you agree?
I guess, yeah.
Be married to Cheryl.
Sure.
And just shut up.
Hollywood star, yeah.
And why is he talking? Why is his whole family going against him? Why is it? You have to question that. Are they making him do it? Or is he a good person? He's healthy. He looks good. He can do more push-ups than I can. And what's wrong with questioning vaccines? Okay? Mm-hmm. I think part of me is fucked up because I've had some health issues my whole life, probably from that. I'm not sure, but there's definitely some stuff. And I did not take the jab. You can't even talk about it. The fact that I can't say that here without getting a strike, I'm going to have to work that in this podcast. Mm-hmm. That's insane. Mm-hmm. So they're basically saying, don't you question it. Don't you do it. Don't. And I never remember autism as much. It was just like, they would say, you know what they said about me, Barbara? Jamie, he's a little off.
He's a little, well, they
but
said that.
Who knows what I have?
I mean, my son right now has a job where.
How old is he?
He's 23 and he lives in Denver and he has a job now working with autistic preschoolers. He got a degree in psychology. So, okay. I mean, I'm just saying that because we brought
He's
that
doing
up.
God's work.
He's doing God's work. He's such a good kid and he's so empathetic, whatever. But when my kids were little, I did hear all about, possibility of vaccines causing autism, blah, blah, blah. So I spread the vaccines out. I got the vaccines because I had to go to school, right?
Did you get the jab recently? Did you get the COVID thing?
I did get.
How many times?
I think I got it 2 or 3 times maybe.
Did you get COVID?
I got COVID 4 times.
I'm sorry.
But the first time I had COVID was in that January before
Barbara.
they announced like the March lockdown.
How bad?
I didn't know what I was sick with. I thought I was going to die. I was in bed for 17 days. It was just before I was supposed to go do a movie called Jacob's Wife, which is one of my proudest movies I've ever done.
Right.
Anyway, I was in bed and I thought I just had the flu and I was so sick and I got worried. Like on the 8th day, I had that headache. It came on with the headache and then I was coughing and then it went into my chest and I couldn't breathe on the 8th day. Like it was like textbook what they said, but I didn't know it until afterwards. And I said to my husband at one point, I think I need to go to the hospital. I'm really sick. I really don't feel well. I'm scared.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, oh, you'll be fine. Just lay in bed. Da, da, da. He was like, I was like, I'll be fine. Okay. If you tell me so, okay. I finally got better.
Who's got the insurance policy in that relationship?
Oh my God. It took, well, he hardly ever goes to the doctors and he's like, whatever. He never gets sick. So he said, you'll be fine. I was in bed, Jamie, for 17 days.
I don't doubt it.
And then it was like I made the movie, and towards the end of the movie, they said, oh, you know, whatever the lockdown was, like March 8th, everybody has to stay home. And I did get back to Los Angeles, and everything was fine for me. But then I realized, oh, I must have had COVID. And there was a couple people on our movie that couldn't come to set because they got sick, and they just never showed up. Our production designer...
Was this right before lockdown?
Right before lockdown.
Okay.
Like a lot of people got sick.
I know.
And we didn't know it was COVID. So anyway, that was my worst time. So I think I had a lot of antibodies because I had COVID. But I did get the shot when it was available. And you didn't get the shot? No, I got the shot. And then I did get COVID again. And I was like mildly sick for 3 days. And then I got the next shot. And then I got COVID again. I was mildly sick for 4 days. So I didn't get the shot this year, and I didn't get the flu shot this year. This is the first time I haven't gotten the flu shot in like 30 years. And I didn't get another COVID shot because I did think, okay, well, maybe there is something to the shot. Maybe we shouldn't be getting it. And I probably have some immune, buildup and resistance to it. So I'm just not going to do it. But what I was going to say about vaccines too, when my kids were little, is I didn't do the vaccines for them the way everybody said, oh, you get like, the 3 or 4 shots in one day, like, when they're 6 months old, then when they're 9 months old, you have to get this shot. I spaced everything out just in case. I didn't know, but I'd heard the information. I was like, I'm going to space it out so they're not going to get it. They're not going to get double doses or 3 jabs in one day. It's just not going to happen. And my doctors were annoyed. They're like, why don't you just do it on the one day? I'm like, no, I'm going to make a separate appointment. For
God.
But
Let me tell you this.
Okay.
You had it. I wasn't getting it.
You weren't getting COVID or weren't getting the shot?
I wasn't getting COVID and I wasn't going to get the shot. No way. And then because I have a heart issue.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, no.
Right.
And then I started getting something and I got it and it was COVID and it was like just Christmas of 2021. And then my girl got it and she's healthier than me. And we were like, and there was one point I looked in the mirror and I was like, I wasn't aware. And I felt like there was a million needles in my head.
Right.
I didn't have a cough. I didn't have a breathing issue, but I remember just laying there, hearing my heartbeat. And I thought, and my heart was beating very low.
Did you feel like you were going to die? Did you have
at one point, for a half a day, I said, I'm just going to beat it because my boy is a stunt guy. And he did some crazy shit. He put himself in a fucking cold bath and then he went out in the snow. And he's like, dude, you gotta like beat it with the fever. You gotta make it so hot that it burns it out of your system. And he was in 7 days and he was up in Maine. But he's a naturalist guy. And then I did not feel good. Did I feel like I was gonna die? I don't want to say that, but I was definitely going, this is weird. And I texted my lawyer. And my lawyer is like, dude, get this shit right now. And God bless him, he to this day saved my life.
Get what shit you got?
And he did a protocol of a female doctor that was not allowed to be given all of it. Ivermectin and like 6 other things.
I had that too. My naturopath doctor gave that to me too. I had it.
And it was delivered to me and I got a thing from me and a thing from my girl and fucking the minute I took it, I felt a little bit better, and every day, and then I just ended up being really tired. But for 2 weeks, and then literally the 15th day,
you woke up one day and you felt better.
Yes,
That's what happened to me. It was like a switch. Somebody turned a switch on. I went, I'm done with it.
And 100%, it was alien. It was not normal. It was something I'd never felt.
Yeah.
And I started feeling really strong. Took me a while.
Yeah.
Got it again, half of it. I got it, I think, a third time. I'm not sure. It was half of that. So each time I felt less and less and less, and I felt like good. It was not a normal thing. Feels totally not natural. And I was like, there's no way I'm going to do it for many reasons. And I'm not an anti-vaxxer. But the whole thing is that all this stuff, but the fact that you got it 4 times, Barbara, you have to kind of giggle because you did all the other stuff.
Well, I guess what they told us was
I know.
that if you get the
don't believe them.
If you get the vaccine,
don't believe
then
them.
you're going to get COVID less.
I know. They fucking lied to you. And so what I want to say is, and it's big pharma. They had a record year. Hundreds of billions of dollars in profit. All I'm trying to...
Do you think Dr. Fauci is a bad guy? Because I
Barbara,
believed him when I saw him on TV. Every time he
Jesus
spoke,
God.
I believed what he was saying to me.
Do you believe that judges tell the truth all the time?
I mean,
Do you believe that lawyers undercharge?
Yeah.
Do you believe that school teachers don't sleep with their students? Do you believe that priests are just there and saying prayers? I mean, Barbara, come on. Barbara, you're smart. Barbara.
But,
Barbara.
It's not just me.
Barbara, I know, but you know you do this. You do this thing with like a bunch of other people are sheepy. We hang out with a bunch of sheep.
But I don't know if you could say that I'm a sheep.
No, you're not a sheep at all. That's why I love you. Because you came out of the barn and you're like, I don't want the other sheep. Tell me. You like came over to the crazy hen house.
I want it to be okay.
You're with the crazy hen house.
Tell me it's going to be okay. I do.
It is.
I have a girlfriend who loves Trump, and she's been my friend for 40 years.
God bless her.
And she, she texts me things all the time, and I read it and I listen to it.
With a red hat on?
What?
With a red hat?
A red hat? No, she doesn't have a red hat. No.
So go. What's your point?
So my point is, I'm open to listening, but I'm nervous. I'm skeptical.
This is what I think you are, and I will be able to tell by your reaction if you're telling the truth. Okay. Because this is what we do.
I'm going to freeze my face.
I think you and I are a lot closer in our beliefs than you may realize, but I think you do realize it. And I think that Hollywood is wildly liberal.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
But it's not really. I think a lot more people think like me but for some reason, thinking like me or other people, you have to understand is this, for backstory. Arnold Schwarzenegger was our governor. Okay? Let's just talk about California for 1 second.
Mm-hmm.
I know nothing. I'm just common sense. Lou Wasserman ran the business. He was one of the fixtures of Universal. He had an agency, MCA. MCA merged with Universal. They made an act that you can't have an agent own a fucking studio. Mm-hmm. So that's when agencies went independent. His biggest client was Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reagan became the president of SAG. And he groomed him and said, you're going to then learn how to be the president. You're going to be governor. And then he became president of the United States, an actor. Okay. Think about that. An agent pulling the strings. Okay. Arnold Schwarzenegger was a student of Ronald Reagan, came up in the Reagan 80s. Everything, he shaped culture. Okay. A huge Republican. Okay. I'm nothing. I'm an independent. Remember Chasen's?
Yes.
Big parties there, Reagan's 80th. You couldn't get near there when he had Reagan's
Bristol
80th.
Farms is there now.
Exactly. Arnold came out and started going against Trump and everything as a Republican and started doing all this stuff as a health guy. So went against JFK as a health guy, a Venice Beach fixture of not the only drug he may be guilty of that we would know was steroids. So he was. Once that happened, I said, nah. I use the term charcuterie instead of the term fuckery because I don't like to get in trouble. There's a lot of charcuterie there. The fact that Arnold wasn't sticking to his guns was...
Well, why do you think that is? Because somebody's pulling his strings?
Because why did Stallone fucking speak his mind? Sly ain't holding back. Mel's not holding back. I love Arnold. I'd love to have him on the pod, but I don't know, bro. Why are you doing that? So my 2 cents is this. Arnold was a hardcore Republican. Women, bikinis, the machine gun, you know, like it was just like kill, murder, whatever. And like he was a woman, she's a sex object. You know what I mean? Like, and now he's like this, like liberal. Here's the deal: you are chill, you're cool, you're like me. The pushback from the nuts. A few nuts are so vocal that they've scared the whole fucking town and made the town a bunch of fucking scaredy cats. And that's not the way it is. You would be on a set. I never knew anyone's sexual orientation or their beliefs. I don't care. Tim Allen is considered like far right. No, he's a normal guy. You know what I'm saying? Roseanne's normal. I love Roseanne. Okay. She says wild things, but she's amazing. I also love wildly liberal people. So my whole thing is just like, this is a town of craziness. So the fact that people are getting like, ooh, is just weird to me.
Well, I'm trying not to be like
You're
that.
not.
I'm trying to be open and listen.
I know, but you are worried about
But I'm worried.
the social. Let me ask you this: are you worried about social pushback?
No, not really. No,
Okay,
I'm
good.
not. No, because I'm here talking with you now, and I'm talking with my friend. And,
So risky.
no.
Well, Barbara, it's all gonna be okay. Like I don't know, like exposing corruption is what I believe is he's doing, but then people are going to say, well, he's corrupt, and there definitely has to be some of that in there, sure. But at some point
he's out for himself. That's like he's got a big ego, and he's definitely,
Okay.
So
You just said that. So, does Biden have a big ego?
probably they probably all do. You have to have a big ego to
Does
be
Bill
president.
Clinton have a big ego?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay. So that's no.
Yeah, I guess so.
That's no.
You're right. I guess neither here nor there.
He's just as a brash.
He's brash.
Motherfucker.
I know.
And he knows what he wants, and people are like, no. How is it like this? Why are people like me? Would you consider me a big mouth, loud, brash at times?
I mean, yeah.
But I do it hopefully in a
You're
charming way. Okay,
yeah.
yes. Yes, okay.
You're more charming than Trump.
Okay. Well, I think Trump is very charming, but
do you? I guess because
he makes me laugh.
He does.
He makes me laugh because he says,
well, I know. I mean, there's people that are my friends that say that about him too, and I'm like, okay. I'm trying to like see it.
but
I don't
here's
see
what
it.
it is. Here's what it is. I laugh at people, not you because you're chill, that are like these hardcore, like, let's just say some musician people that are like hardcore, like, I hate to say this. I hope I don't piss them off. Maybe it'll come on the pod. Like Tommy Lee.
Yeah.
Tommy Lee's a member of Motley Crue.
Yeah.
You know, like he's been a star since he's 18 years old. Motley Crue. You know, he's done everything you can. And he's like, fuck Trump. I'm like, bro, do you remember the Rainbow Room? Like, do you remember your nights in Dubuque, Iowa? Like, it feels like there's something going on where wildly outrageous personalities can't deal with another wildly outrageous personality. And then people like me are like, I dig it. Like, and so to me, if you really want to go deep, Trump exposes something in them that they don't want to be seen.
Okay, well, I guess that's fair. I do like...
You shut down on that point.
No, but I do like take charge people. I don't like milquetoast people. I don't.
No.
And I do feel like the Democrats needed to take charge a little more and take action a little more. I mean, and Trump is a person who's taking action. It's a lot of action in a short amount of time, and so
he also has a ceasefire happening at the Gaza Strip.
But he wants to take it over and make condos and make it the Riviera.
If people aren't dying, are you mad about it?
No, I don't
people
know.
aren't dying.
Yeah.
Do you want people to die or have a condo? I don't get that.
Yeah.
Help me. Do you want war in Ukraine?
It's so complicated for me. No.
Okay.
I don't.
Do you care more about the price of eggs or if a prisoner in jail should be able to get transgender surgery? Barbara, It's a person in jail. They committed a crime. Do we have to pay for that, or can you wait till you get out?
No, I don't.
You're not a you're not a hater. This is what I'm saying. It's like, let's look at each thing specifically, and that's the problem. But that's why he doesn't worry about Hollywood, because whatever you say, I'll cut out. But also, it's done. America's sick of it. People are sick of it.
I know.
People don't fucking. When the Me Too shit happened, do you know how many waitresses came up to me and go, "These fucking bitches"? I play clubs all over America, and yes, there are scums in this business.
A lot of stuff happened to me. A lot of stuff. I never even thought, oh, am I going to say something about it? I was like, no.
Do you want to tell one or no?
I mean, I could tell one. I've told it before.
I bet more stuff happened to you, and the fact that you didn't say something makes me feel like even more stuff happened to you. Now, did you not say because you didn't know it was wrong, you didn't want to expose, or you just said it wasn't a big deal?
I didn't want to expose it at the time because I didn't think
say something.
It would matter to people. I think I was like 21 or 22, and it was, I went to a casting office, and it was on a Roger Corman movie, and I sat in the audition and was reading with the casting director, who came out from behind his desk and sat right next to me, and during a scene, in the reading, when his character was supposed to kiss me, he stuck his tongue down my throat, grabbed me, and kissed me.
Who did?
The casting director. And, I sort of acted like it wasn't really happening and pulled away and then left the audition. And I thought to myself, should I call my agent? I didn't have a boyfriend or anybody. I had friends. I think I might have told a girlfriend, and we all went, oh, that's too bad that happened. But I didn't think that it would amount to anything. And I guess I was embarrassed, so I didn't tell my agent. I didn't tell anybody. When the Me Too movement came out, I thought about that incident, and I said, oh, yeah, I got one of those. I got a couple. I have a couple more. But I was like, I mean, stuff like that happens all the time today. It hasn't stopped, It hasn't stopped. It probably won't. And so do you have to tell every story? I don't know. Probably not. Like, even if it happened today, I guess I'd probably tell somebody. At my age, no, I don't think somebody's going to do that to me now.
I don't think you would allow that to happen now.
No, I would have.
I don't think you allowed it then. I think it just happened and you were shocked.
I was shocked.
Do you want to say his name?
I wouldn't say his name.
Okay.
I could tell you after, but he's dead now.
So wait a minute. Let me explain to everyone how insane this is. You're doing a scene with a casting director. Not only did he
didn't even get the job.
Oh my God.
Come on, he should have cast me. Or was he doing that to everybody? Okay, can I tell you something funny? Can I tell you something funny?
I'm laughing at the irony.
I'm going to tell you something funny.
Go.
So when the whole Me Too thing happened, I told a few of my friends, oh my God, this thing happened to me. I guess
you definitely, what was that, 81? You definitely have stories.
Oh, yeah. 82, maybe.
So
I told my agent a couple years ago when it all came out, Rose McGowan, all that stuff, right? I told my agent, and I told him who the casting director was, and he laughed. And he goes, oh, yeah, that was just blah, blah, blah. He said his name. He was always trying to get dates. And I said, really? You knew about this? He wasn't my agent at the time I went to that audition. But he had a reputation. There's actors that have that reputation, right?
Mm-hmm.
And, I don't, but I'm not somebody that's going to, like, vilify somebody and cancel them or ruin them. Like, I don't want to even ruin this poor guy. I want to say poor guy. I don't want to ruin his name, on his deathbed. I mean, he did that to me. It was like bad behavior.
This is such a deep moment because I want to ask you, because what he did was wrong. I've never had that happen to me. I've had some things happen to me, but I took them as compliments. Because I'm a man.
Yeah.
And it's different.
Right.
And, but I want to know, is it because you don't want to sully his name because you have a different point of where you draw the line, or it was just no big deal?
It's no big deal. It's not where I want to put my energy. I don't.
Like, how long did it affect you after it happened?
Like a week, a few days, maybe. It kind of annoying.
But it was disgusting. some
wasn't
fucking
disgusting. I
older
was like,
guy
oh, shit, this
tonguing
happened to
you.
me. Yeah. Oh shit. Why did he do that? You know, that's what I thought. Like, oh God. What? You know?
Well, it's casting. That doesn't happen.
No, this shouldn't happen.
It's casting.
Yeah.
And he shouldn't be A, physical with you, B, that's insane. And the bigger thing is that people don't realize is they don't talk about this. They go, well, that's so-and-so. That's what he does. He tries to put a finger in your butt when you go and read for him. You know what I mean? Like, oh, that's just so-and-so. That, you know who else was so-and-so? That's Harvey. To the point where they made jokes about it at the Oscars.
Yeah.
And everyone laughed
Right.
because they fucking knew. And it's like...
yeah. But, yeah. They knew.
That's just Dr. Huxtable. Yeah. So it's like... That's the whole thing is like, yeah, to understand this whole movement, you have to understand that it's not just that town is a dirty machine. There's goodness in it, but you have to talk about different levels, morals, and what is the truth. If the agents were 100% complicit. Agents know it, and you're not saying anything bad. I am. Agents are rats, and they producers rats. So it's like
I'm a producer too. I'm not a rat.
No, I know. I produce too, but
I'm a good producer.
But it's like to say that the fact that this happened, there's just so much I can say. I feel like you were like, it happened. It's not great. It wasn't terrible. Move on. That's how it was.
It wasn't so terrible that I felt like I had to make. I mean, I was so young that I wouldn't have made a case against it at that time, but I don't think I would make a case even if it happened to me now. I would be like, really, guy? Like, fuck off. You know, I would say that. I didn't say that to the casting director.
I don't think a person would be able to get that close to you now.
No,
but,
no.
But give me one more.
I worked on a show and I had a guy, every time I would go into his dressing room to rehearse, he would always try to get me to sleep with him. Like,
how?
100% of the time.
Don't say sleep.
Barbara, you're so sexy. Can't we just do it?
Okay.
Can't we just have sex? Come on. Just, like, have sex with me.
What decade was this?
What?
What decade? 80s?
This is like late 80s.
And what would you say?
Well,
that's mad pressure. What do they call that? That's like rape pressure? Coercion.
I would just say, would you stop? I'm not sleeping with you.
Yeah.
You're married. Just stop. Can we do the scene, please?
Yes.
He got over it. I got over it. He did it to me all the time, but it wasn't like,
fuck, man.
Oh my God, he's terrible. I have to turn him in, or I just looked at it as bad behavior, you know. And in some ways, I actually, you know, he was a really good actor. I really liked him as a person.
Everyone has their value systems.
But would he really have slept with me? Probably.
100%.
Well, I know he would have. Was he just trying to fuck with me? Was he trying to, you know, show that he had power over me? I don't know. Maybe all of it.
As someone speaking from the male section of society, I would say he was just attracted to you. He went about it.
Trying.
He went about it terrible.
Because I know that he slept with other people, like there was other women that I
on
know.
the set.
On the set, and
yeah.
Mm-hmm. I knew that was going on, but we all kind of went, oh, geez, you know, whatever. That's him. So yes.
I mean, here's what's crazy: is this is the stories that need to be said because there are things that you go through that I can't experience. But you know, as a younger man in Hollywood, I had my own issues. I mean, of like not terrible, nothing like yours, but everyone gets hit on in different ways. I
don't think that was that terrible.
No, it's not terrible.
It wasn't even,
but what I'm saying is, it's like Rose talked about it. She's smart. She's like, it doesn't happen to just young women; it happens to young men too. But as I always say, the hardest thing in Hollywood is being a young actress. And the hardest person to survive in Hollywood is a young actress. Because if you can get through it. And the things you see, and everyone's just trying to fucking eat you. and you're the newest
And
thing.
use you.
Yeah, use you and discard you, and they're just vultures. And the things that you must have seen, like just that, like, you know, that's a felony in today's society in terms of like, oh my God. But like back in the 80s and the 90s, it was like, okay, he's annoying. You know what I mean? And it's like, Jesus, okay, Jeffrey, quit it. I'm not going to fuck you. You know what I mean? Like, just stop. You know what I mean? Like, and it's just it's annoying because you just want to work. You didn't want it. You didn't want to
concentrate on the
You
work.
didn't want to do it with them. And it was just like, dude, let's just work. But like, those are the things that I think aren't talked about enough about how the shift has happened, how that was just accepted behavior of like, and
accepted bad behavior, and you just dealt with it.
And the sad part is because part of you didn't want to deal with it because, well, you grew up tough. I mean, you were in a Carney, you were doing LSD when you were 10, 12, but also because you didn't want to lose a fucking job, and that's sad.
Well, that's true too.
And you were scared of being blackballed, which also is crazy.
Right, that's crazy. I don't think I thought of it like that. Like, I never thought I would complain about him. He was too big a star too. I couldn't.
He's a big star,
do it.
good looking. Probably in other circumstances, potentially, would you have considered it?
If I wasn't married and he wasn't married, maybe.
Okay, yeah,
maybe.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's what. I don't know. My point is that it's all fucked up, but it's like
it's men behaving badly, people behaving badly, towards other people, and I'm sure there's women that take advantage. Did you see Baby Girl? Nicole Kidman's
Don't tell me.
Yeah.
Listen, I've had gay, producers hit on me.
Oh yeah.
Which doesn't bother me. But, it was fine. I said, I'm like, I just laugh it off, whatever. But I've definitely had some powerful females. I'm not going to say names, but I had this. Can I really tell you the story?
Yeah.
I had a woman one time, we were on a set, and she grabbed my package. And she goes, look at that.
Really?
Yes. And I went, whoa.
She was a producer?
No, but she was, I don't want to say too much.
Okay.
And, but she.
Not an actress, because I don't think an actress would do that.
You never know. But, all I want to say is that I was like, damn, and I was like, but I'm a dude. I was flattered. And it never went.
Oh, really? Oh, you were flattered.
I was flattered.
Wow. It didn't affect you at all.
I was like, no, because she was hot. I was like, wow. And he's all like, she's pretty aggressive. And the other guy he was like, damn. He's like, she was aggressive. I'm like, she's just playing, she's playing. And he's like, yeah. He's like, oh.
So somebody else was there and witnessed it.
Yeah. She was commenting about it, commenting with him. And it was funny, and it was like fucking late night. It was a shoot. It was everyone's loopy.
And how long ago
and she
was
grabbed
this?
my junk, probably about 15 years ago.
Yeah, because nobody would do that today.
No,
you can't get away.
And
with it.
I wasn't mad about it. It never went any further. There was always a look in each other's eyes. She had her had her situation, and it wasn't. I looked at it as play, but I was definitely excited, and I was a compliment. It doesn't mean that you should do that, but that's what I'm saying, how men looked at it. But I'm no victim at all. I am no victim at all. Mm-hmm. But shit happens, and so it's like, where does that line go?
Yeah. Well, right now everybody's afraid of everybody, and you hear about guys saying at conventions, like taking pictures with the fans, and they go like this now. They don't even hug the people because they're afraid.
It's sad. I want to hug people.
Yeah, I want to hug people too.
But I don't. But the cutest thing is that when people hug me, or they just, they'll come in and go hug me, or some people can hug. Of course, it's like,
yeah, they ask.
It's sweet,
now.
and
you can ask.
Yeah, but
around you, but but it's so
everyone's so fucking awkward.
Everybody's so awkward and careful.
It's so awkward.
My husband just retired, and he was in the he was a bond trader for 40 years. And all of this stuff happened, pre-MeToo, like all this HR stuff. They were buttoned up 15 years ago. He said, Hollywood caught up, but we had our hands slapped so many times that they came in and, all this stuff was like, nothing with women because we got into trouble. Like his whole industry got into big trouble. So they curtailed it. Like, way before Hollywood. And I'm not saying that it's all good. Like I think there can be some nuance. I think you can flirt with people and it's fine. But a lot of younger people don't feel comfortable with that, and they're very outspoken about it, and they will cancel people for that kind of stuff. And I don't agree with. I think it's gone too far.
Yeah, there's intimacy coordinators, which I think are like. Listen,
I've done 2 movies recently. I did Jacob's Wife with my friend Larry Fessenden, and they said, "Do you want an intimacy coordinator?" I was a producer on the movie. I said, "No." I said, "Larry and I are going to figure it out ourselves. We're going to figure out how we're going to roll, what we're going to do, what we're going to expose, not expose. We're going to do the whole thing ourselves." And it was great, and we did it. And then we had Suitable Flesh that Heather Graham was in, that Joe Lynch directed, and there was some very sexy scenes in that movie. Do you guys want an intimacy coordinator? And Jonathan Shuck and Heather Graham were like, "No, we'll just figure it out ourselves."
Those two will figure it out.
Yeah, they'll figure it out.
They're going to figure it out.
And they were friends, so they, felt comfortable with one another.
Oh, good. So you don't have to hire them?
I don't think you have to, unless an actor demands it.
There are people that are like, it's a crime not to have it. Let me tell you.
No, I don't want that.
Good for you.
No, I don't want that.
You know, I just want to let people know that actors and actresses.
I've had sex before. I know how to do it.
And they've actually hooked up on set.
Sure.
People on location actually have had late nights and drank wine and actually had sex.
I've had sex with a couple of co-stars.
Yeah, okay.
People that I've acted with
back
in the day.
I'm surprised.
Yeah.
It's normal. Mm-hmm. You're into. I always tell people, why is your relationship? Why are you so intimate here? Why is this happening? You get fucking thrown into a situation where for 6 weeks you're going to be together. You're doing rehearsing. I'll never forget, I did a movie. And literally, we did a whole day of rehearsals.
Yeah.
And then my co-star's like, "Where do you want to eat?"
Yeah.
And I didn't even know her. And I'm like, "I don't know. I think there's something down there." And they're like, "All right, meet you down there in the lobby in 15 minutes." And you just eat.
Yeah.
And you start talking. And I'm like, "It's such an early call tomorrow. Okay. Do you want to rehearse?" And then you're literally spending 18 hours with somebody you just met.
It's gonna happen.
And you're and they're away from their significant other or their whatever. Or you know what I mean? It's like.
Yeah. It's happened to me a number of times.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And hopefully every time was consensual. And
it's been fine.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I did her pod and
Scream James.
And Catherine's pod. It's called
Catherine and James A. Janice. Catherine.
Yes.
Corcoran.
Catherine Corcoran.
And James A. Janice.
Yes, and James A. Janice. And it was Screaming Queens.
It's called Scream Dreams.
Scream Dreams. But you're on a break.
We're on a break. We took a break. We did the show, and we had one producer for a while, and then he left, and then we brought in another producer, and it seemed to be going okay for a while, and then.
Wow. I can't believe how much we covered. This was crazy. You're so generous. This might have been my longest pod ever.
How long was that? 2 hours?
2.5 hours.
Yeah. Well, you can't have that. You have to cut some of it out, right? People can't listen for that long.
Well, people sometimes listen to 4-hour podcasts.
You've had people on for 4 hours?
No. This is the longest ever.
This one?
Yes. But I don't know what happened.
I feel honored. We had a lot of subjects.
Follow Barbara. Barbara Crampton, you are a legend. You're a piece of pop culture forever. And I applaud you and I thank you. And I love that you gave me some chili.
I gave you the chili.
And where can people find you? Do you want to post anything? Talk about anything?
Yeah, basically my name, at Barbara Crampton, kind of everywhere.
Okay. Follow her.
Follow me.
Thank you.
Thank you.